welcome to Talking Tennis. John Silk has been lucky enough to get himself a ticket to the US Open Women's Singles Final, so today I will be hosting. My name is Jack, we're joined by Vansh, and we're joined by Isabel. Guys, how are you feeling? Are you excited for this one?
Yeah, super pumped for this final, honestly. It's pretty cool that we have pretty much the two best players of 2022 playing each other, and they've won the most matches pretty much since the pandemic, and it's fitting that they're in the final. So I'm excited to see how they match up.
Yeah, I am also really excited. I think it's going to be. I can't pick a winner, so I have no idea how it's going to turn out. So I'm really excited.
It's interesting, of course, Isabel, you saying that you can't pick a winner because Jabeur is maybe one of the only people that, I don't know, not just stands a chance against Swiatek, but we look at Swiatek's record in finals, obviously. Well, she's won her last 9. I think she's only ever lost one, actually, including at ITF level. And what's the tally of games? I think I've got it here. 111 games won to 32 games dropped in those 9 finals.
Lost in 9 finals. That's exactly right.
So I mean, it's laughable how consistent she is in finals. At the same time, Jabeur maybe presents one of the only games that can possibly deal with Swiatek, as she forehand slice returns there down the line, just with her junkiness, with the way she can change up the ball. Vanch, you don't put her the favourite, right? I can't remember what you said on Twitter. I think you posted your prediction earlier.
Yeah, so I was that finals record is quite convincing. So just based on that, I just feel like Swiatek has to be the favorite going in. But of course, like you mentioned, Jabeur's craftiness and the way she's playing right now, spot serving, and also Swiatek, struggling a little bit early on in these matches. I feel like Jabeur is in with a chance, for sure.
Yeah, I think Jabeur's serving's been really, really important throughout the tournament, particularly against Caroline Garcia. Obviously, Caroline Garcia may be affected by some nerves in the semi-final, but one of the main reasons that Jabeur was able to come through that match was the way she served against her and the way she served her backhand in particular and stopped her stepping forward. Carol sort of mentioned that after the match. It's something that will be really important. She actually talked a bit about the serve as well, and I thought it was really interesting. Because one of the biggest reasons for Swiatek being so successful this year is probably her backhand return and the way she can flatten it out. So I'm really interested to see, as Swiatek goes for the backhand, coincidentally enough, if Jabeur goes for the backhand, because her serve stays so low, it might actually be quite effective against that return. So there's a high chance that Jabeur's serve on a hard court could be one of the only serves that Swiatek can't totally annihilate, basically. Yeah, so Jabeur's serving abilities are definitely going to be interesting, and the direction she serves is going to be particularly interesting too. Isabel, who do you have as the favourite of interest? You said you couldn't pick, but if you had to, you're back against the wall.
I think my heart would go with Jabeur. I do really want to see her win a Grand Slam, and she's just been playing so well. I did not expect her to absolutely annihilate Garcia the way that she did. I was hoping that would be a little bit more of a fighting match, but it wasn't. So I think, gun to my head, I'm gonna pick Ons, but I won't be at all surprised if Iga wins this in 3 sets.
That is, of course, as Jabeur goes down love 40 in our first service game. You might have jinxed it, possibly, Isabel.
She's a slow starter sometimes. Okay,
she is. I mean, that's definitely true. I just think, firstly, the finals record is way too much for me to ignore. Secondly, nerves-wise, Jabeur maybe has a little bit of a history in finals of sometimes losing from a winning position. So I believe she's lost 4 finals from a set-up so far in her career.
Yeah.
The finals she has won, though, if we're talking about mental sort of improvements to her game, this is a small point, but her psychologist has been present every time she's won a final, Melanie Meyer. At the same time, if we had to compare the two and say which one of them was more of a mental giant, I mean, Iga Swiatek wins every time with the help of Daria Abramovic and her team. It's kind of difficult to pick Jabeur if it came down to nerves. How do you feel about that, Vance? Do you feel the same way, or?
Yeah, I definitely think Daria has done a really good job with Swiatek, just getting her ready. They're doing a lot of visualization and just getting all their emotions out before these big matches and just making sure that she handles the occasion well. And she's shown up at all of these finals and really just brought a different level that the opponent can't really seem to match. And I think it's good that Jabeur just played a Wimbledon final. I think that should help her in this match. Just having been to a Grand Slam final before, having been so close but not gotten it done, I think it serves as good motivation, and she does definitely believe in herself. She's beaten Swiatek twice. This is probably not the best start she would have wanted right now, getting broken at love and Swiatek serving first, and it could just be some early nerves, and because so far she's looked a little bit tense right now, and some her coaches trying to get her pumped.
The one thing I would say is Jabeur is probably one of the best in the game at returning, just in general, and obviously Swiatek is exactly the same. However, Swiatek's serve isn't the best in the game, and if we look at her hard court streak earlier this year, her ability to win first serve points has dipped by about 5% or even 6%, I guess, if we were rounding up actually, which is quite a lot. And for somebody like Jabeur who's able to get first serves back frequently, that's one of the main advantages I could see. She's going to make Swiatek play on her own serve. There won't be any cheap points, not like there is a ton of cheap points on Swiatek's serve anyway, but it's just an interesting point because if Swiatek is feeling it at all, then Jabeur at least will be able to make her play as many singles service points as she can. I just laughed there though because I was just watching Swiatek annihilate like 3 backhands in a row and then finish with a forehand down the line. It just seems like such a moot point when Swiatek's record in a final, what she can do when she's when she needs to deliver. It looks just too scary for Jabeur for me.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the patterns that she's going to want to use that backhand down the line and really open up the court, make Jabeur hit a squash shot like that, and then just finish with her forehand, which is obviously devastating.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that it will probably be Swiatek's backhand that does a lot of the damage because I think Jabeur's forehand, although it's a brilliant shot, to be fair, it's probably the shot that can be broken down the easiest. So if you were going to have any nerves in the match, going down the line with a backhand's a great idea because I don't think Jabeur will be able to deliver if she's feeling it at all.
Yeah.
That's free love now.
Yeah. I'd like to see Jabeur play a little bit more of her bread and butter game right now, and less so with these slices and variety. I just think power for power, she can stay with Swiatek if she gets the first strike in. But if she's trying to overplay the variety, then I think that actually might work into Swiatek's hands because she's so good at dealing with slice, like you mentioned before.
Yeah, she barely ever misses off a slice. One of the other things as well is given the surface the slice does tend to sit up. And actually throughout the tournament, we haven't seen Jabeur playing the slice as much as she would on a natural surface. Drop shots in particular, I mean, they sit up on a hard court, particularly one like the US Open where the balls tend to fly a little bit more. It's not really the right play, and especially against Swiatek, who gets under the ball so much easier than a lot of other players. So I agree with you, Vance, definitely. I'm just looking at that top spin rate for Jabeur's forehand.
On the men's side as well, right? I haven't seen Alcaraz go to the drop shot as much this tournament as he would on clay or even on grass.
Yeah, good point. It's definitely not a shot that you can play at in these conditions as easily as other places. How do you guys feel, Isabel, if I direct this one to you, about the fact that the number 1 and number 5 seed have made it to the final? By the way, this is the highest combination of seeds in a women's major final since the 2018 Australian Open. Do you feel like this is dominance kind of being restored to the women's tour? Isabel, do you think it's a good thing? Do you think did you prefer the chaos?
I don't have a preference. There's a part of me that does enjoy like a bit of dominance. It's kind of cool to see somebody just win every time. But we did have like 20 years of that. So it was nice for a while to have a lot of variety, a lot of questions, a lot of unknown going into every tournament. I'm pretty happy with these two being in a final. I'm happy to see Iga dominating on a surface that isn't just clay. I think she had a lot to prove to some critics who were saying that she was just a clay court player. So I'm happy that she's in this final and has done well in this hard court season. But we might be due for like a fair bit of dominance. We had a bit of it with Naomi Osaka for a couple of years, but it didn't exactly last. And yeah, I think we're due for some, and I hope that Jabeur can be in that conversation, and
maybe even the rival to Iga Swiatek's dominance. Who knows if she can meet her more often. Certainly on grass, I mean, Jabeur's the favourite almost every time. I remember her last year knocking Swiatek out of Wimbledon's fourth round. It was great, actually. I really enjoyed watching it. Vanche, what do you think about Jabeur and her possibility of challenging Swiatek? And do you think there really is a possibility of anybody challenging Swiatek over the next couple of years? I remember you saying Naomi Osaka was your pick for the tournament all those days back now, about 2 weeks ago. Do you think Osaka's still got a chance as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Osaka, it's just about where she's at mentally, and what she wants. What more does she want to get out of the sport? Because obviously she's won Australian Open twice and US Open twice, and we know how high her peak level is on the hard courts. She's obviously still yet to transfer a lot of those skills over to the clay and grass, mostly just lack of matches and just not playing enough. So I think if she gets herself in the right, in the right headspace, has to definitely play a lot more tournaments, because I just feel like the level is too high on the WTA tour right now to be playing so little as she does. That she'll have to really get invested for at least 6 to 8 months in order to really have another big run again, because draws are really tough, and you can see she ran into Danielle Collins, who's an amazing hardcourt player as well. So I kind of felt like that was a do or die match for her, because I think had she won that match, it would have opened up a lot more possibilities for her in the draw and potentially playing other big hitters, and she would have had a few matches under her belt. But that being said, she did still get to the Miami final, and she is still very capable on going on runs. So I would love to see it. I would love to see Swiatek and Osaka more times on a hard court, especially. But I just don't know if we're gonna get it. I think it's too hard to predict as of right now.
Yeah, definitely Osaka's future is a little bit up in the air. I will just direct us over to the matches very quickly. That's Jabeur was up 40-love there, went to 40-30 and did manage to close the game out as Swiatek's forehand just drifted wide. So I'll direct us to what's going on a little bit in the match. We're at 3-1 at the moment. Swiatek serving. From what I've seen, we've been talking a bit, so I've not seen loads, but I mean, Swiatek looks like she's annihilating the ball at the moment. I have just seen her come into the net, and has Swiatek won that point though? Oh my god. It's probably one of those days where Swiatek just does anything and turns to gold, because that is not a point she should have won.
Yeah, absolutely not. And obviously, always when she goes to the double hander on the backhand volley, it has a tendency to sometimes sit up, but she was able to anticipate this cross court forehand from Jabeur, and what a pickup there.
I know, the flick at the end. Oh my god.
Yeah. It looked like this was behind her for a second. I'm just looking at the replay.
Yeah.
That was some soft hands.
That's an omen. I mean, if she can, as Jabeur absolutely laces a forehand down the line, though, to be fair, does Jabeur need to red line today?
I would say she still needs to play within herself and hit the big targets.
Yeah.
Because I think too much redlining can also just cast a lot of doubt. And now that I think she has a game on the scoreboard, I think just playing high percentage tennis and hitting it really deep, trying to rush the Swiatek forehand, and then using her craftiness to finish points or maybe set up a big ground stroke. I think that would probably be the better play.
Jesus, that's two totally redliney shots though in a row. To be fair, Vanchin, she's now 15-30. Absolutely smacks a backhand down the line. That was wild, actually. I really don't know how she did that.
Yeah, and I actually think for both players that backhand down the line is pretty key. I already mentioned Swiatek, but I think for Jabeur as well, you really want to open up that that option, because if you can rush the Swiatek forehand, then you'll have another court. You might have another floater in the middle of the court that you can at least have something to work with and put her on defense. Even though she's so dangerous on the run, but I guess Jabeur wants to be the one controlling. So yeah,
perfect return there, by the way, Vance, as well. Sorry, just to direct us to 2 break points. Just let you know what happens on this next one. Yeah, that was 3 amazing points in a row. So it'll be interesting to see if she can give out one of these break points.
Yeah, you can see the timing is really back now from the ground, and she looks a lot looser. She looked a little bit tense, kind of overcome by the occasion in the first 3 games.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if she does manage to take a lead in the set, if that will change or not. I think playing from behind sometimes actually suits Ons' game. She has just missed it a forehand there, though, so it's 30-40 now. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if she can capitalise on these opportunities, because I feel like this is where she probably will tend to get a bit tighter, and Swiatek will probably move ahead. Because I remember our final in Rome, where it was like 6-2, 6-2 to Swiatek, and I mean, Jabeur kept it a lot closer than 6-2, 6-2. Like, there were so many games. I mean, I'm sure there was a love 40 recovery at one point.
Right, 4-2 in the second. I remember there was a love 40, and Swiatek had to come back from that, and it was by no means easy.
Jabeur's just converted that break point, by the way, with a crisp forehand down the line. So we've got a match. 3-2.
There we go.
She hit 3 to 4 winners in that game. That is seriously good stuff.
See, I said she was a slow starter. She's gonna be fine.
Yeah, she does tend to play really well from behind, as Jack was saying. That's true.
I'll just update the score for everybody on the banner thing. Just while I'm doing that, did you get to see any of Sabalenka and Swiatek, guys, out of interest? If anybody was willing to talk about that, if you did see it, if not, no worries.
I didn't actually get to see it.
I actually did. I caught some of it, and obviously it was very impressive to me how Swiatek managed to recover in the second set. Just played a really good set and put that first set behind her, where Sabalenka was really firing. I thought, especially on the return, she was really giving herself time and hitting really big from the backhand side, and just sort of matching Swiatek from the baseline, power for power. Didn't really seem to have the yips on the serve. And then the match got really interesting, actually, in the third set, because Sabalenka was 4-2 up, and they traded a few breaks in the beginning, and then Sabalenka broke once for 2-1, and then Swiatek breaks back, or I'm sorry, 2-love, and then became 2-all, and then Sabalenka was 4-2 up, and then from there, I thought she really fell apart a little bit. It was a combination of her feeling the finish line is pretty close by, and trying to get over that hump of her getting to her first final, because this is now her third semi that she's lost. 6-4 in the third. That in the combination with Swiatek going on lockdown mode. So that was really deadly.
Yeah, of course, she was in the US Open finals last year, and that was that 6-4 in the third as well, was it?
Yeah. So she lost to Pliskova 6-4 in the third at Wimbledon. And in that match, I felt like the racket was more or less taken out of her hand. But the Fernandez match,
that was grim. Yeah. I remember that first set tie break. That really should have been hers.
Right.
That was one of my favorite matches of the tournament last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fernandez was great, to be fair. It wasn't all Sabalenka giving it to Fernandez. I will just go back to the match quickly. Jabeur's got off to a really good start there. 15-love on her own serve. We're seeing average topspin speeds, which were like 57 miles an hour for Jabeur at the start of the match, I know, which is ridiculously low, and now up to 79 miles an hour. So I have no idea what happened to get that much of an injection of pace. That's a serious spike. That's Swiatek taking control there with a really deep forehand, and then putting away the forehand as we see cut of Thomas Witkarowski, Swiatek's coach. That he has only been on the team recently, and I don't know if you feel the same way, Vance. I know you know quite a bit about Swiatek's game in particular. Do you feel like he is here to improve Swiatek's serve, or do you think it's something else?
I think it's more or less just working in combination with Daria and making sure that the fundamentals of her game, obviously the forehand, the movement.
Yeah, beautiful backhand pass there, by the way, 15-30.
Yeah. Extremely good at that shot. It's probably a generational shot. The way she can hit the sliding backhand out wide, it's very Djokovic-esque, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think he's just added a lot more clarity to her game, and I think he's really helped her on hard courts, because I feel like she's a lot more aggressive now, and just with her return, with her forehand in general, and not afraid to take it to players who hit pretty big. And whereas I think in the past, I think she would have been more comfortable just only relying on her defense, but now I really feel like all the parts of her game have come together, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for that, along with Daria, of course. The serve is of course a work in progress as always. It does help that her second serve is pretty good. That she doesn't have to that she can win matches now, even on off days, while serving. And that's also why she's come back from a set down quite a bit this year. I feel like she's problem solving in general better. I think she used to panic a little bit more, maybe last year.
Yeah, she touched on that at the start of the year, I think, in particular after a comeback over Kaya Kanepi in Australia was the first time I kind of heard her talk about it out loud, and she said it was a massive thing they'd worked on. I think she only won like 3 matches last year from a set down, and I'm sure that could even be double figures this year, and I wouldn't be surprised to hear it. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it'll be a lot anyway for sure. It's something they've improved. But one thing she was saying in her presser, to be fair, like she said she doesn't always trust herself on court, but winning these matches from like positions where she shouldn't win and positions where she's underconfident just makes her feel so much better. Yeah, by the way, Swiatek's just broken with a really great forehand down the line to sort of set up an easier forehand put away. I'll just update the banner again. Yeah, it's Jabeur's looking good, to be fair. I'm not totally counting her out, but it's quite interesting watching these finals, knowing the scores in hindsight if you watch them back, because they're never quite as one-sided as you expect them to be, I guess, in portions, but it's just the constant barrage, really. Swiatek doesn't tend to make any errors in these matches, and just how tidy she is, it's impossible for people to deal with or sustain at a level that can deal with it throughout the entirety of the match. It's just so tough.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you give her balls deep in the middle of the court and she's crouched down in that position, super low, and she's able to generate all of this pace with just really good hip rotation. It's just amazing, because Jabeur's kind of having to guess where that forehand is going, and the best she can do is sort of just slice one back on the run, and that tends to float up a little bit on these courts.
Yeah, I think the thing that's impressed me the most with Jabeur's run so far isn't anything technical, actually, so much in her game, but just her ability to fight from positions where she's been losing. So I wouldn't, in a way, it would be going with the tournament if she was able to fight back from a breakdown here with Swiatek serving for the set. Swiatek 15 all, by the way, at 4-2. Because, I mean, she's come back from a breakdown in her first set v Mandlik. She survived 4-all v Rogers when she was a set down. She survived Kudermetova serving for their first set. She survived Tomljanovic serving for their second set. It just seems like this tournament has been built around many comebacks for Jabeur, and how fantastic she's been at fighting mentally, basically. And I've just seen, by the way, Swiatek has got 18 of her 19 first serves into play.
Yeah, and she's winning 11 out of 18 of those points. Or maybe I'm a point behind. But yeah, I see it on the coverage. That is quite a good sign for Swiatek to have such a high first serve percentage early. That has to give you a lot of confidence.
Yeah, again, you don't know. I've not been watching it enough maybe to say for sure that she's taken something off. I have just seen a big kicker at 89 miles an hour out wide, which isn't a typical first serve, I guess. Maybe she's not flattening anything out, and she's just trying to push Jabeur back, basically. Guaranteed a return, sort of like Alcaraz, guaranteed a return, but you rely on your +1 to do the mopping up, basically, which she just did there, actually, with a really, really great forehand.
I think that's a really good play. The high kicker out wide to Jabeur's backhand, make her hit over her shoulder, and then just set up the +1 like she did there.
Yeah, I
kind
remember.
of an faithful for her, just like it is for Carlos.
Yeah, I mean, there's similarities in their game for sure.
Yeah.
I always want to say, obviously, I was saying this in the stream before, but for anybody at home who doesn't know, Swiatek, the fact Swiatek is like Christmas in English, but also Nadal in Catalan is just like unreally coincidental. Anyway, Swiatek did manage to hold there, so she's now up 5-2. As I was saying there, Jabeur really, really great at making comebacks from losing positions. So who knows? We could see her get through this. I'll do a little bit of a detour here into their head-to-heads. Have either of you seen them play before? I was talking about Rome earlier, but also they played in Cincinnati last year. That that one was quite important, I guess, because it's the last time they played in hard courts, and Jabeur won that one. And it was 6-3, 6-3. It was quite comfortable. Obviously, Swiatek not the player she was then as she is now on a hard court. But have either of you seen either of those matches?
I think I've seen some highlights and bits and pieces of the Cincinnati performance. But like you, I also thought Jabeur had a good chance of winning that, especially after coming off of beating her at Wimbledon.
Yes.
I just kind of felt like she was the more confident player going in, and she was probably going to cause problems. And she ended up winning 6-3, 6-3, if I'm not mistaken, in Cincinnati. So that was quite decisive. That was quite decisive, but I just think they're both totally different players right now. So maybe can't really read too much into it.
Yeah, that's true. We have got Jeffro with us. How are you doing, Jeffro?
I'm good, thanks. How are you guys? Good evening.
Yeah, good, thank you. You weren't waiting there for too long, were you? Because I did not see you.
No, about 40 seconds. It's all good. It's all good.
Good, okay. Good. How are you enjoying the final so far, Jeffro?
Yeah, good. I've kind of just had it on in the background because I was just finishing up work. I saw Iga went an early break up, and then Ons broke back, and now it's back on Iga's racket again. Haven't really been able to watch too much in depth so far, but
who was your
Ons?
I was going to say who. Yeah, who was your pick? Yeah, before the match started.
I think I thought Iga in 3, but I wouldn't have been surprised if Ons just turned up and blew her away as well. But it doesn't look like she's quite brought the level yet.
We were talking about Swiatek's crazy final record at the start of the stream, and honestly, it's impossible to ignore it for me. I just feel like we could easily see 6-2, 6-2 here, and nobody would bat an eyelid.
Yeah.
By the way,
is it like 17 consecutive sets in finals?
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah, no, it'd be more than that actually. It'd be more than that, I believe, because it's been 9 finals that have all been straight sets, right? So that would be at least 18. And then,
she's not lost more than 5 games in any of those 9 finals, and that includes her 2 French Opens and her 5 Masters 1000s and the other 2 titles she's won 500s. It's mad, and I think even at the ITF level, she's only dropped 1 set in a final, and that too was like 2019, 2018. It's pretty mad. The only person to beat her in the final was in Warsaw, actually, in her home country.
It's wild. It's Herzog, right?
Herzog, yeah. So she's a legend. Someone needs to players on tour need to reach out to her and ask her for some help.
Yeah, that's insane.
We are at 15:30, by the way, on Jabeur's serve. I'll talk you through what's happening in this point. Swiatek hit a backhand down the line. Jabeur tried to hook it cross court and netted it. So we're at 15:40 now. It's not looking good. Yeah, I'll talk you through this next break point as well, because it is now a set point, of course. If it does close out the set, then we can talk about something else, but I'll tell you what happens here. Jabeur going for a first serve. First serve down the tee. I thought she nailed it, but she just missed, so she's got a second serve now. Delivers the second serve to Iga's backhand, goes to Jabeur's forehand. They're trading cross-court forehands. Jabeur, injection of pace. Swiatek forced to slice just in the baseline, inside-out forehand from Jabeur. Goes to her backhand, but she nets it, so Swiatek takes the set.
Oh my God.
No big comeback like I was talking about there. Unfortunately, she couldn't dig in quite as much as she needed to. It does feel like she's redlining at the moment, Vance. We were talking about this earlier, and it feels like redlining's not the best tactic, but it's the only thing she can do when Swiatek's in this mood, I guess. It looks like Swiatek's visualizing at the moment. Yeah, okay. who's actually a big fan of Jabeur, who's disappointed, who doesn't really mind. I personally am probably more of a fan of Swiatek than Jabeur, so I'm quite happy with this result. Anybody else?
I mean, I'm happy with Iga winning, but it's so hard to watch Jabeur lose sometimes because of how down she gets on herself. And knowing how good she is, I want her to play well, and it's just difficult to watch her be steamrolled. So regardless of who wins, I'll be happy for the winner, but I definitely don't want to see Jabeur get killed.
I'm a massive fan of Swiatek as well, just because it's been a while since we have such a dominant player on the WTA tour. But at the same time, I love Jabeur and I love her charisma. I love the variety she brings. I love her unique style in combination with her story and such a creative, crafty game to get herself in these positions at the top of the rankings. So you do want to see a really competitive back and forth match between the two and really sort of battle it out like a world number 1 and 2, ought to go. So I definitely would root for Jabeur in the second set just so we can have a good final here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'd take a Jabeur. I'm kind of impartial as well. I really, really like Jabeur, and honestly, her game's been really refreshing within the women's tour in general. But I don't really mind. I absolutely am rooting for Jabeur to take this set at the very least, though, because I agree. I want a good final. As Swiatek steps up to the line to start off the second set, it's not looking brilliant for Jabeur. Fingers crossed she can pick up her game a little bit of a detour in that. Jeffro, I'm going to direct this question to you now. Do you think it's a surprise to see Ons here? Obviously, she's the number 5 seed, but there's a lot of talk about, maybe hard courts aren't her favourite surface. And obviously, she was not in the best form going into this tournament. Do you feel like it's a surprise she's here in general? What do you think?
Yeah, I was really surprised, like in a good way. Like I really like Ons as well. I think she's fantastic. But I wasn't very confident in her form heading into the US Open, and I went through the bracket and saw she had Shelby Rogers, and I was like, I just feel like she's gonna do another upset.
Of course, and we shared that prediction, didn't we, Jeffro? Sorry.
Exactly. I think someone else. There was another prediction I saw on Twitter, which was the exact same I did as well, but I've forgotten now. But yeah, I didn't think she would get to the final at all. So it's great to see her here. But she's played so well against Garcia, like incredibly. And played really well against Tomljanovic as well.
Yeah.
Was it Tomljanovic?
It was Tomljanovic, yeah. Do you know, to be fair, yeah, you're right. Jabeur did play really well against Garcia, but it wasn't all Jabeur, I suppose, was it? There was definitely a dip in level from Garcia compared to the rest of her matches. I think it's fair to say. But you're right. She definitely served particularly well, and she made Garcia play. Garcia said after the match she didn't get any free points. Nothing like any of our other matches. She just wasn't able to win any of her points easily, which is saying a lot considering the size of the ball that she was hitting. I feel the same way. I've been really impressed with her, but I'm pretty surprised that she's here. That was, by the way, the first drop shot attempt from Jabeur I think I've seen all match.
Unsuccessful.
Yeah, unsuccessful.
They did just show a stat from the match, and she's only got 48% first serves in so far, which is not ideal against Swiatek, especially when Swiatek's dialed in. Like,
what can Jabeur do to take this set? Do you think?
Make her first serve. First of all. Okay,
besides that, besides the obvious.
It is particularly important, definitely. One of the interesting stats about Jabeur is she's quite high up in the second serve points won percentages, like within the top 50 relatively. I think she's like top 15. But when you look at the second serves in play stat for her, she's much lower. She's like 39th in the top 50. Basically, that in layman's terms means she's not making many double faults, but her second serve isn't particularly strong. So within this matchup, for somebody who's got a great first serve and an attackable second serve, it's more important than ever. It really is more important than ever that she makes first serves.
Yeah, absolutely. And against Garcia, she was hitting her spots extremely well. And with a lower ball toss, it can be sometimes hard to read. But so far, she has a low first serve percentage, and when she does get it in, they just showed this stat here on the. It's 6-2 30 all for me, but it just said that first serve points won 2 out of 10 for Jabeur, which is not really going to cut it. And
First serve points won.
It says first serve points won, and for Swiatek, it's like over 65%. It's 13 out of 20.
It's like Diego Schwartzman numbers. Jeez.
Right.
Jeff,
and Swiatek's first serve percentage is 85% right now, which is ridiculously high.
Bizarre tactic to bring into the match for me, I guess. I think she's quite confident that in rallies she will beat Jabeur is how I would read into that, because it doesn't look like she's taking much risk on her first serve at all.
I think it's also the heaviness of her shots that's really bothering Jabeur. And on top of that, Swiatek is actually not having a super comfortable time dealing with these lower balls that Jabeur gives. It just looks like her footwork is so sharp. She's stepping into the court, and it's Jabeur who's having to play a lot of defense at the moment. And this was the first real attacking point from Jabeur in quite a while to get to deuce.
Yeah.
Is this the first deuce of the match?
Could well be, yeah. I don't
know.
Yeah,
I think it is. I think it is.
That first set was done in like half an hour, I think.
Yeah. 30. We're only at 36 minutes, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3-0 to 3-2 to 6-2. It was no deuce games.
Great backhand down the line, by the way. Yeah, so that's now 40-30. It's becoming you're right, Vance, it is becoming a shot that's becoming more and more important. Yeah. Assuming Swiatek does hold this game quite easily, that's maybe a nice moment to segue into a match that did take a long time, because I didn't get to see it yesterday, and I've heard it was absolutely great. Alcaraz v TFO. Did anybody get to see it?
Oh
yes.
We saw it.
Yeah. I
slept in for a 1 p.m. shift. I was up so late. I was late I was half an hour late for a 1 p.m. shift today. It was awful.
Yeah, I think I was up until I fell asleep during the 5th set because it was at like 4 o'clock in the morning going into it. So I missed the end. But I woke up around 5 and it had ended. So it's quite a late one.
That was insane.
What actually happened in it? Match. Is there a story of the match?
I think for me, Alcaraz was actually it was all about the 4th set, really, because it looked like Alcaraz was going to run away with the match, honestly, because the 2nd and the 3rd set, TFO had a little bit of a dip in energy and focus, and that's all it really took. I thought he had some chances in the beginning of the 1st set, but then Alcaraz takes the set 6-3 and then just runs away with the 3rd, plays one of his best sets of the tournament. TFO is the crowd. He didn't really have the whole crowd behind him, TFO, like you would have maybe thought for someone as charismatic. But I guess that's also the popularity effect with Alcaraz. And then in the 4th set, it was Alcaraz, I believe, had a game point for 3-love, and TFO goes on this amazing run. He breaks back and with some electric returns and some really good first serves that he finally he got his percentage up, and he was hitting 135. And they went into this tiebreak, and he saved a match point before the tiebreak, and it was just really electric stuff. I didn't think Alcaraz did actually that much wrong in the 4th set.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So
wow.
That was
I said that there was only the only thing I think which has kind of been the reason he's been dragged to 4 or 5 sets throughout the tournament is him not taking those breakpoint opportunities or set points. Because it was the same against Sinner. And he doesn't necessarily, I mean, he sometimes hit an error, and other times he just won't do enough, or he'll go for too much. He'll go for an aggressive return, and you're like, that's the right thing to do, but then he sprays it wide. And you're like, why are you like this?
I have an interesting question, by the way, about Swiatek. Sorry to segue a little bit, but an interesting question about her popularity, I guess, and how well known she is. Because when I went to Wimbledon this year, there was a lot of people who hadn't even heard, of Iga Swiatek. They didn't even know the name. Now that she's in I guess, an American Grand Slam final, do you think her name will be much more well known, or do you think I'm being too positive about the, I guess, American media and how they would cover Swiatek's story?
It's kind of tough to say because when she broke out on the scene, I don't think it really helped her that her first major was Roland Garros 2020, without a crowd
Yeah.
and in the
Yeah,
pandemic and in October when I
Mhm.
don't think many American viewers especially were watching. Nonetheless, yeah, like just that time of the year and just how dark that French Open kind of felt overall. Just
Yeah.
because of the time of the year and clashing with other sporting
Yeah.
events just coming back. But I think, but I think she's more well known and for less known to casuals. But so a run like this, I think, should definitely help her in popularity. But at the same time, her name is kind of tough to pronounce, and
I mean that's true. Yeah,
that's sometimes can be a factor for those who don't really
yeah.
like it. Like when I ask my friends, who do you think is the best player in the world right now? Who's number one? And the most common answer I'll either get is like either Serena or Osaka. Like those are the only two that I feel like they know.
I
I
was
at least get-
thinking.
I was
Sorry,
just gonna
go
say,
ahead.
I just gonna say, I at least get friends who tried to pronounce her name or know of the spelling of her name but get it wrong, like
Yeah.
Swiatek and stuff. So they kind of know her. But what were you gonna say, Isabel? Sorry.
I think with the one of the reasons that like a lot of people might assume Osaka is number one or sort of still dominant kind of comes down to image. She's more well known in the States, partly because she is half American, but she really follows that kind of American athletic thing of having a brand and having a business and really focusing a lot on image. And building a presence that way. And I think that really makes a difference in American media. I mean, Venus and Serena did it. Sloane Stephens does it, and then Osaka. And I think maybe one of the reasons that Swiatek is not as well known is because she's not in that phase of her career. Or maybe that's just not what she wants to focus on. She's just really focusing on the tennis, which is totally fine. But she just doesn't have that kind of brand focus that some other WTA players do, who definitely have more fans, I guess.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point, actually.
Very quick detour, by the way. Just Jabeur saved a break point with a serve and forehand or backhand cross court combo, sorry, and then got a short return from Swiatek and nailed a forehand down the line. So she's now advantage as she sprays her forehand wide, though, to be fair. Yeah, I agree with that, Isabel. The only thing I'm saying now that maybe prompted this point of discussion is that I saw a billboard of her in Times Square on Twitter. So maybe people are actually maybe the media are picking up on her. Maybe she is getting marketed differently than I would have expected her to be marketed. It's positive stuff.
I mean, she is number one in the world, so there's going to be a lot of focus on her for people who follow tennis and cover tennis. But for like Vance was saying, for casual fans, not having that kind of business image is maybe makes a difference.
Yeah, I also think some of this is just how she's wired.
Jeez, I don't know if you've just seen that point. Sorry.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What just happened?
Extremely heavy net cord from Swiatek, puts the ball really short. Jabeur gets up to the ball though in kind of plenty of time, but hits it cross court with a very open space beside her and then can't put the volley into play.
Oh man.
Fell quite badly.
Did she drop her racket or did she throw it?
I've seen her do that.
Both.
Yeah, I've seen her do that. Sometimes she'll do a press up from that position when she
Yeah.
falls like that. It's quite funny.
She'll do a push up sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. The break point, by the way, was a serve to Swiatek backhand.
Yeah.
Tries to volley it, but yeah, very, very, very heavy volley. Yeah, and Swiatek absolutely nails it down the line.
She looks like she did earlier this year.
My goodness, she's
ridiculous.
She's so good at getting up to those and hitting getting under the ball.
She and Alcaraz are very similar.
Yeah. There was also a billboard for her in Leicester Square in London. I've been there quite a bit recently. And during Wimbledon, there was like a huge one of her. I think it's because she's with Rolex as well, so I think that plays a big part. And I've got a friend who works in sports marketing, and they work quite closely with Rolex and stuff, and they're big fans of her because she puts the watch on after every match that she wins. So that's definitely helping her.
Yeah, and it also helps that she kind of takes pressure off of herself, and she wasn't really talked about as much coming into this tournament, obviously, because she wasn't, kind of her streak was over, and she was losing a little bit more matches over the summer than she would have
Serena
liked.
as well,
Talked
obviously.
about the
Serena
balls.
helped.
I think the Serena effect definitely helped. There were eyes on other players. Most notably Serena, especially in the first week. But other players were talked about more as contenders than she was. So I think, and her mentioning the balls and how she can't really control them very well, and all of that, I think it helped her to her advantage. She was able to take a lot of pressure off and just kind of focus on the stuff she needed to do. And she wasn't always on center court as well. Played a lot of matches on court 1 and on Armstrong, and didn't always get the prime time spots.
Yeah, she did. I mean, she did talk about that. She said that it really helps being able to win when she didn't say playing. She said not playing ugly, but when you're not feeling 100% on in conditions that maybe don't suit you in the pressure. She was talking about so yeah. Obviously, it's not this also isn't the first time she's won a tournament in conditions that don't suit her. She was talking about how she won Indian Wells at the start of the year, had a really hard time controlling the ball there. Played 3-set matches, but was still able to go on and win it. So I think she's gained and she's one of those players that does like build on confidence that she gains. She talks about it all the time, and she really values the mental side of the game. And I really think it is actually something that's playing a big part in how she's playing right now and how she will continue to play in finals.
Yep, and she always just works her way into form. She has 2 or 3 matches that she loses sets in, but she kind of figures it out and adapts as the match goes on. And by the time she gets to the final, she's so confident. Like I could see as soon as she was walking out on the court and they did the interview before players walked on, she seemed like, she mentioned Jabeur's game is quite tricky, but I'm ready for this moment. And she seemed like very assured and confident in herself. And she's not always like that, because she can be quite hard on herself as well, and she's a bit of a perfectionist in some sense.
I wish I could afford her psychologist.
I need some of that in my life for sure. She's worked with a lot of athletes, not just tennis players.
It's sailing, right? She's got a background in sailing.
Yeah. Sorry, just the return from Jabeur was painful.
Not the background in sports psychology or sailing psychology, I guess.
No.
Yeah, that's a few drop shots we've seen that I think Navratilova was talking about it as a bailout shot earlier. I don't know if I think that's a little harsh maybe, but it's probably still not the right play, I would say.
No,
Well,
it does work for her quite a lot of the time. It does work, but I think when you're up against it on the scoreboard and mentally, that's when those shots just don't really go your way.
Well, Jeff,
unless you're Alcaraz.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we were talking about the two of them, to be fair, and how they've played less drop shots this tournament in general, and it's just it'll be because the tournament doesn't suit it, the hard court doesn't suit it, the balls don't suit it. It's not a shot that works well in these conditions. So it's not a part of Jabeur's game that she's been using that often. And then you've got Swiatek, one of the best movers in the game, one of the spinniest shots in the game, able to get underneath shots. It's a terrible matchup basically for that. It's just a terrible situation for that matchup and for that shot even in general. Jeff was hand on mouth.
Don't know if you're ahead of us or not.
Yeah.
I think I am, yeah.
Okay.
That was very good.
So I'm watching Jabeur crunch a backhand cross court. Yeah, leave the open space though, and Swiatek nails it on the line.
Wow. That was a good return from Jabeur though.
It was. This has been 7 games in a row, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh dear. It's such a shame. No, it's great for Iga, and I'm so happy she's playing like this again, but
it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch Ons lose, yeah.
Especially after, Ons looked like she was probably going to win that match against Rebecca at Wimbledon, and then it all just got away from her a bit, and she got overpowered. And it was just like Rebecca is really, really lovely, and she played fantastically. But there was just like a sense of sadness watching, that last set and a half in that final, because you could just tell she just couldn't match her. And
Yeah,
this today has just gone even worse.
she talked about that in the presser as well, and just how obviously disappointing it was. But to be fair, she put a lot of positives on the match, and she'll put a lot of positives in this match as well. It's probably not going to be the end of the world for her. And actually, this is a massive win to get to the US Open final. But she will see it that way. She's a very positive person, she said. So you're right. It's still disappointing for everybody else who's a big fan of her.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're going to have an interesting popcorn feud later, aren't we?
There've been a lot of feuds lately.
Oh, I know. Oh, it's all good fun.
It's great fun. Swiatek now, free love, by the way, that's one break. Jabeur is serving to not go down a double break. I wouldn't say serving to stay in the match so much, but it kind of is a must-win game, right?
Yeah. It's just really like watching Iga's matches from early in the year, where she just takes the match away from you in a matter of moments. It's brutal.
It's been the backhand down the line for me so far. Every time I see a moment where they've kind of been in stalemate, or they've been in a sort of equal scoreline in a game, Swiatek seems to come out with a wonder backhand, and
and she's returning so well off the backhand side too, and instantly causing damage right off the return. Oh my goodness. She's kind of making Jabeur press and go for lines and go for shots she's not comfortable going for.
Would this be the biggest disappointment for you guys of the tournament if Jabeur does lose, or was there something else that upset you more earlier on?
Oh, I've got plenty more upsetting losses.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
my whole bracket was I could go on a run. So when that happens,
I was in tears. I was in tears on day one when team lost to Trainer Buster.
I mean, was that a really big surprise though? Come on.
No, I was expecting him to lose in straight sets, and then he was a break up in the first set, and he took the third set, and I just believed. At times, I believed, and that was stupid. Schwartzman losing to TFO was sad.
That first set was brutal, I've got to say, Jeffro. Against Francis
Thankfully,
TFO.
I was out for dinner, so I was just kind of checking the score.
That was probably worse, to be honest.
The Rublev.
Yeah, it probably was, yeah. But then to see TFO beat Rublev in straight sets, Nadal in 4, take Alcaraz to 5, I'm like, well, it's not too bad. Alcaraz did ruin the stat because Schwartzman broke TFO once more than all of his other opponents combined. And Alcaraz just destroyed that stat last night. So that was a bit unnecessary from him, to be honest. But,
I know, yeah, twisting the knife. I'll very quickly...
Jabeur is double faulted, and now it's...
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll talk us through this double break point, because, I mean, if Swiatek wins this point, it's probably over. I'll tell you exactly what happens. Jabeur going to serve now. She serves to the Swiatek forehand, and Swiatek does net it, so it's 30-40. She was in a very similar... In fact, was she in exactly the same position in Rome? I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head, but it was very similar to this, where she lost the first set 6-2 and then was down a break in maybe even a double break in the second set before making a sort of comeback. First serve to the backhand, by the way, and then she gets an open court to hit a forehand, so it is back to deuce. I think she was down a double break actually in that second set, and she made a comeback, like a break comeback, and then a love 40 comeback to pull off the double break, but couldn't quite get any of those break points that she'd fashioned there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if a similar dynamic plays out here, where she can just swing freely, because when she does swing freely, she's great. Like, she's one of the best. She's got one of the best peaks on tour for me, just in her ability to mix stuff up, to be unpredictable.
She's not being allowed the time to do so. Like, she's being rushed right off with the serve, and her first serve percentage, it's just not good enough so far.
Yeah, I mean, matches like this kind of make me sad that they don't play 5 sets. I know there's various reasons why people think they shouldn't, but like she goes 2 sets love down, you're like, well, we've got one more set. But like she loses the next 3 games or the next 2 points, and then the 2 games after that, the final's over. And it's just a bit of a shame.
Yeah, you wonder though if it would just be delaying the inevitable Jeffro when Swiatek's in this mood. I honestly wonder if the 9 sort of finals in a row is now just at a point where it's like insurmountable for anybody who's not playing their absolute best. Because I feel like just going into a match knowing that stat, just the amount of confidence it pulls from you and the amount of confidence it gives to Swiatek is just unreal.
I thought Garcia would be the one to really challenge her, but
I thought so too. I was disappointed.
I've just remembered
2 good serves from Jabeur though.
Yeah, that was a good hold. I've just remembered someone on Twitter, like you and me, Jack, had on losing to Shelby Rogers, and also had Anisimova being Swiatek, which I had, and then Anisimova went out in straight sets in the first round.
Yeah, I had Qinwen Zheng beating Swiatek.
I think that was a really important game for Jabeur.
Yeah,
that was big.
So here's an interesting stat that they've just put up. The amount of first serves going to Swiatek's forehand is massive, and obviously our thinking would be to rush Swiatek's forehand. I honestly think going for the backhand and keeping it low to the backhand isn't a bad play, but obviously, there's a very high chance that the return in the serve become kind of a moot point for Jabeur, and really it's all about rallies, and from there Swiatek wins every time.
Yeah, because she's not like missing returns off the bat. She is getting the ball back and playing in. Once they get into a rally, it's just advantage Iga every time. I feel like her strokes are just too heavy.
Interesting to see where this goes, though. We are love 15 at the moment, up for 3-1 in the second set. Didn't quite see that first point there. I'll let you know what happens in this one, though, because it's, obviously love 30 would be a pretty huge deal for Jabeur. Swiatek going for her first serve now. Throws it up and catches it again. Going for the first serve again. First serve attempted into the body of Jabeur, but skips off the net cord and out. So second serve now. Taking her time with it. Going for the second serve into the Jabeur body and backhand. Hits a backhand sort of down the line, down the middle. Swiatek gets a forehand cross court. Jabeur's forehand cross court sails wide. So it is 15-all. This game doesn't seem as precarious now.
But forehand cross court has not been firing for her all match. Been trying going in. It's trying to do the swing.
Wow. Good shot coming up.
Thanks.
No spoilers though.
I'll tell you what happens. Jabeur hits a backhand down the line. Swiatek defends off her forehand, and Jabeur hits a great forehand cross court. Very, very angled and very short in the court for a winner.
Was that Caroline Wozniacki they just showed in the crowd? With Tracy Austin?
There were too many blondes. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, it looked kind of like her.
My mom's going to be very irritated for me saying that.
Yeah, it was Tracy Austin, and I think it was Wozniacki. But
yeah,
I think it was.
Wozniacki, of course, the last player to be in a 1 versus 2 type final in 2018.
Ah,
that's right. Yeah,
her and Halep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One and done Wozniacki.
Speaking of the battle for number 1, I'm very glad we're getting that tomorrow, because as much as I love Casper Ruud, I would have been very disappointed if he got it without playing Alcaraz in the final.
I think that the fact that they not only have to battle for the title, but for the number 1 slot is really cool.
It's so cool. It's so
I'm just really excited about
increases
that.
the stakes even more.
Yeah. Oh my god! And I'm already so high stress. And I really wanted TFO to. I'll very
quickly just talk through the break point, just because it's on 15:40 on Jabeur's on Swiatek's serve. My stream's frozen though, so I don't know if anybody else can tell us what's happening. Oh no, I'm back. It's okay.
I've had a couple of frozens. Yeah.
Second serve for Swiatek now, going with the second serve into Jabeur's backhand. Jabeur nails it down the middle. Swiatek backhand cross court, and again to Jabeur's backhand. Jabeur changes direction to Swiatek's forehand. Swiatek up in the rally now, comes into the net, goes straight at Swiatek, and Jabeur gets enough width on it to stop Swiatek hitting the volley. Brilliant.
Yes.
There you go. Back on serve.
Good
Here we
stuff.
go.
Good stuff.
Come
On.
That is good stuff. That's 9 out of 11 points she's won. And it looked
Thank
like she was about to go
goodness.
down love 4, and now it's back on serve. So we have a match.
Saving face,
Here we
maybe
go.
at least.
Here we
Who
go.
knows? What were you saying about the TFO Alcaraz match there, Isabel? Sorry.
I really wanted TFO to get through to the final because it's partly just because he's great and because ultimately I'm American and it would have been cool to see him make the final. But knowing that Casper would have just taken the number 1 slot at that point was a little bit like, that's a little too easy. So I'm happy that Alcaraz and he have to battle it out. It's going to be so cool. And I don't know who's going to win. I mean, I can probably assume that Alcaraz is going to take it, but I don't think it's going to be as easy for him as people think.
No, it's like when they played in Miami, that was when Ruud's backhand was just a different story back then. And he's changed his technique now. So back when he was like hitting up on the ball, and it's just it looked really awkward, the stroke as well, because it's kind of like really loopy and top spinny. He's kind of like hitting up on it.
Very slow and
then,
spinny, and you could rush it. But now he's flattening it out, taking it down the line.
Yesterday, he just gets a backhand and he just absolutely flattens it down the line. And Hatchinov was like, what? Where's this come from?
That wasn't on the 55 shot rally, was it?
Oh, there was that as well, which was incredible.
That was incredible.
A year ago, Ruud would never have hit a shot like that on a big point either. It's insane.
I was sort of half paying attention during like the first part of that rally, and then so much time went by that I was like, oh my God, they're still playing. They haven't stopped.
Insane.
Yeah.
It was incredible. It was a lot better. Like last year's semi-final, they had that 53 shot rally between Djokovic and Zverev.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand that rally because they were just pushing it to each other. It was like one of them was just like waiting for the other one to make an error, whereas Hatchinov and Ruud hit the ball a lot harder when they're in those kind of exchanges. And it was the way it finished was just insane, unreal.
Yeah, amazing that Hatchinov did not have the edge in those backhand to backhand, because Casper Ruud was winning a lot of those points.
I thought Hatchinov does. I think he's got a good backhand, Hatchinov, but
I thought he would win a lot more of those rallies and actually have the advantage. But Ruud's forehand is so good from his backhand corner that he just he can just dictate so much with that inside out and inside in. Looks like Jabeur is it's 15-all right now.
Yeah, it's just when Ruud starts edging over to that corner, it's so hard to flip the dynamic without going for something risky.
Doing this a lot, like just changing rackets in the middle of the game and just going to a tighter string. Have you guys noticed that?
Yeah.
I've noticed that she's been taking her time on someone else's serve a lot. And I think she got into it just briefly with the chair in her last match because they said, like, you have to go by the other person's serve. And she seemed kind of irritated with that. And I don't really know what that's about. Maybe it's her number 1 ranking. I don't know. But she's been taking her time on someone else's serve a lot.
Good Lord.
I saw her talking about it in the presser. I've actually got the comment on it from her match against Pegula. She said, well, the one thing she said in particular was that when the ball was flying away from her, she used to focus on herself, and in her match against Pegula, she changed the technique, she used to change her technique a little bit to keep it in. Today against Pegula, she said she realised she needed extra help from the racket and the string itself. So it was almost like an admission that getting help from the equipment was something that she needed to do rather than change up how she was actually playing, basically.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Don't really see players do that.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I think it's certainly when her forehand starts to spray as well. She was saying the conditions are are more conducive to her forehand sort of going off the rails for a while. By the way, Swiatek just nailed a backhand cross court and nailed a backhand down the line the point before that, so it's now break point.
I had to wait until you'd caught up, but yeah, I was about to say 2 ridiculous backhand winners from Iga.
She said, yeah, she's just got far more patience for the mistakes that she knows are inevitably going to happen here, and she knows she's going to get opportunities, basically. So it's just oozing with confidence, basically. By the way, Jabeur's serve into Swiatek's body, backhand down the line, sorry. Swiatek defending now, kind of gets up in the point with a great forehand. Now just trading forehands cross court. Swiatek is loose and it goes out. I was pretty surprised that missed there, actually. So yeah, back to Juice.
Yeah, it kind of just flew up on her a bit there. It was way out.
I suppose that's the moment I was just talking about where Swiatek's got to be a bit more patient and just realise she's going to miss shots like that. I don't think she'll feel too disheartened at that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's happening on the Juice point. Big serve down the tee. Jabeur goes backhand down the line. She's up in the point. Managed to flatten it a forehand a little bit. Defending now, though, is Swiatek. That's scary.
That's just a ridiculous forehand.
Oh my goodness. The combination of speed and spin. Like, it's so heavy and it's so precise. Right in the corner. Jabeur blinked and it just went by her.
Yeah.
It's pretty high over the net as well. It's like
yeah, such good net clearance. Oh my goodness.
Insane. That's ridiculous.
Sorry, I'll say what's happening. Jabeur's now defending in this break point. Swiatek goes backhand down the line and kind of lets her back into the point, actually. Jabeur's still defending, though. Swiatek goes down the line again, and the backhand down the line has just been immense. It's been so good. That one got Jabeur on the run. She wasn't able to pick herself up from being on the back foot, basically. It's
just kind of like, you know how for Rafael Nadal, the forehand down the line is kind of the barometer?
Yeah.
With first confidence. That's kind of what I feel like it is for Iga on hard courts. When she steps in and she's ripping that backhand down the line and opening up the court, that's when you know you're in trouble.
Yeah. I found it interesting, by the way, just a stat to reinforce what's going on. Obviously, Swiatek's only lost like 2 return games so far, I believe, and the stat that WTA Insider posted earlier today, when she's won 50% of her return games or more, she's won 66 of her 66 matches, whereas that's happened basically because nobody else has been able to break her enough. She's the only player on tour to average over 50% return games won this year. And in New York, she's broken 58% of the time. So yeah, basically, at the moment, she should be guaranteed to win this match given that record.
Another kamikaze drop shot attempt.
Why does she keep playing that drop shot? It has not worked for her once.
That time it was a bit more low percentage. It just felt a bit
shot at nothing, really.
Yeah.
Clutching at straws. Jabeur also talked about that, actually. She said that a lot of the time in the past, and she did that in the Wimbledon final as well, her coach will give her a game plan, and sometimes in the more stressful moments, she'll sort of stray from that game plan in a way to kind of mix things up. And she said going into this match, she would stick to the game plan throughout. So I just doubt, to be honest, that her coach gave her the game plan of drop shots at all as a mix-up. They probably would have wanted to talk her out of that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the worst plays against Swiatek, especially right now.
Yeah.
Looks like Swiatek double fault. That's her first double fault of the match.
That was probably our coach there saying, please don't drop shot. Is it Issam Jalali? Is that his name?
Yes. And then her husband and fitness trainer is Kareem.
Yes, that's right, yeah. 15:30, by the way, on Swiatek's serve.
Interesting. She's got Narancha Sanchez Vicari also helping.
I think it was the slice that bothered Swiatek there, by the way. So interesting to see if she'll keep doing that.
For sure.
It doesn't seem like she's been slicing a lot.
Yeah, it shouldn't really be a bother for Swiatek. We were saying that earlier. I don't know if that necessarily won her the point there. She did slice and happened to win the point. So I'll tell you what happens in this one, by the way. I'll just talk you through it. Swiatek serve to Jabeur's backhand. Jabeur returns down the middle. Jabeur gets the chance to nail a forehand down the line and perfect. 15:40.
That was that was impressive.
Yeah.
Wow, she was on her back foot there, and she just generated that pace.
That was a great return deep, to be fair, just to have Swiatek reeling just a little bit and then takes the opportunity to do a return +1. Again, I'll just...
3-game. The break
Yeah,
back.
it was, yeah. I'll talk you through this break point again. Swiatek served to Jabeur's forehand, and yeah, unfortunately Jabeur just giving it a little bit too much air there and it sails long. 30-40.
Now this is like that game in the Rome final that you were just alluding to before, except that was love 40. Now it's one less to save, but
yeah, it feels similar. Body serve, by the way, from Swiatek. Oh, Jabeur, exactly the same forehand and just long in exactly the same place.
Oh man, she want that one back. That was a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one looked painful.
She's only hit 7 forehand errors actually for the match, and 2 of them in this game.
Jeffro reacting prematurely, possibly, and I would imagine he's rooting for the Jabeur comeback. So it's hopefully a good point from Jabeur. She gets the forehand inside out.
Neutral.
Jabeur, yeah, there we go. So
yes.
Jabeur does win the point there.
Okay.
Manages to work the point with her forehand, and we're back to advantage Jabeur.
Really
Dictating play from the middle of the court with the forehand, moving Iga Swiatek
Really
side
nice.
to side.
So Jeffro, I imagine your compliments are just for a good point, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, any player could have played that one.
I won't cheer an unforced error.
Of course. Yeah, I'll talk you through this one as well. This is quite an important part of the match. Swiatek serve out wide. Jabeur gets a backhand return into play. Backhand down the line from Jabeur now. Up in the point, gets a forehand cross court. Swiatek goes deep though, manages to neutralise the point. Whips one cross court. Jabeur with an amazing forehand down the line. Seriously wasn't on, I didn't think, and forces the error. So we're back on serve.
Oh, and it just bounces back on Iga's side in the net.
One more game.
I thought it was going to bounce on Jabeur's side.
Time just slowed down in that.
One more game, and Jabeur would have won
That's
the
what
most
Jabeur's
games
got to do.
against
Is just
Swiatek.
she's got a red line and take a lot of risks and just change directions earlier, and just.
Yeah, I mean that was a huge risk there. I'm very surprised it paid off, but well done. What was I saying there? Sorry, yeah, one more game and Jabeur will have won the most games against Swiatek in our last 9 finals. So that would at least be a win.
That's something.
Yeah.
Talk about consolation prizes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, God.
Also,
did you catch up on that crazy point from TFO Alcaraz last night?
I honestly haven't seen any of it yet. Yeah.
That was a million.
There were like 2 that really
it was
stick
the
out.
game point on 5-6 first set. Alcaraz serving.
The one at the net.
When he backtracked.
The cat and mouse. They were both at the net. And,
they were.
He
The first
with
one
the forehand
at the
winner.
net.
That
was the craziest shit I've ever seen.
I burst into laughter. Like I could not believe what I was seeing. Like
it's almost comical when you watch this guy do this.
I know.
Every match he's playing, it just burst out laughing. Like, is this even human?
I think Alcaraz
so
is like the scariest person I've seen at the net in a very long time.
Mm.
He never missed. It's ridiculous.
No.
But this is what I love about Alcaraz is it just forces his opponents to elevate their level to the point where like TFO's like it brings out the best in TFO, it brings out the best in Sinner, it brings out the best in so many players because they're aware that this guy's a beast. I'm gonna have to contend with him for 15 years. I better step up. So it's nice to see.
Still, one of my favorite sets of the tournament was when Alcaraz played Baez in round 1, and that second set.
So good.
And like Baez was on like a 6-match winning streak. He had no hardcourt form at all. He was playing dreadfully, and then he just played like one of his best matches of his young career. It was insane. Man. God, I can't wait for those 2 to play on clay. God.
Yeah, I'd probably still make Baez the favourite at this point in his career, to be honest. Very slightly, obviously. Alcaraz is absolutely great. But...
Yeah, we'll see. I was a bit disappointed by his loss to Cirindolo in that Gestad final. I thought that was probably his most winnable match of the tournament after coming through team and Rublev and stuff. But
2 points away from 6 games on the board. Overall, I mean.
Jabeur looking a lot more relaxed now, and looks like she's got her serve under control. These last 2 points. Oh man.
Little bit of an out of control backhand there, to be fair. Now 30-15.
Yeah. The backhand has just been tough for her today. I need to execute because she wants to go down the line, but she's just not getting the right ball.
It's kind of tough to say when to attack as well with it, because you don't want to go too early, but at the same time, obviously, the longer you wait, the more likely Swiatek is to take the initiative.
Yeah, finding that balance is really tough.
Really tough, yeah. Jabeur gets a backhand down the line, perfect, by the way, places it to perfection, and it forces the error from Swiatek's forehand, so we're now 40-30 at 3-4 Jabeur. This is great. This is good. We're getting a match.
Yeah, good stuff.
I'll tell you what happens in this next point after Swiatek sorts her hat out. Hat sorted. Jabeur now going for the serve. Down the tee. Forces the error from Swiatek's forehand. 6-4. 4-all, I should say. Have I just predicted the future? Could be 6-4. Who knows? 4-all at the moment, no.
this would be an insane comeback. She looked almost down and out.
Yeah, it was 3-love at the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah, break point for 4-0. We were talking about potentially a bagel, and now she's got 6 games. This is
Hanya's tuned back in now that it's gone to 4. She's tuned back in.
Maybe it was just the hat and she's fixed again.
I think this is important to remember from Scott Barkley, one of our viewers at the moment.
Yes,
Scott, do you remember when Diego Schwartzman beat him in Vienna last year?
Oh, that one was tough. Let's get off of Andy. Okay, we're not going to talk about all of Andy's losses.
I don't know what you all are going to do when Andy fully retires.
Yeah, oh my God.
They become Jack Draper stands. That's what they do.
It'll be a lot less painful, to be fair.
Oh, we've got a good rally going.
Yeah. And
Jabeur's on the ground again.
Presumably out, yeah. Oh, no, it's in.
It was in.
No, sorry, it was out. No, I mean, it was out.
I don't know.
I meant to say, yeah, that presumably the smash was in, is what I meant to say from Jabeur's reaction, but that was a celebration,
could not
maybe?
Tell.
Imagine a mixed doubles match.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Wow. Okay, love 15.
Goodness.
Swiatek misses the smash.
Oh.
That happened so fast I couldn't
While
figure
she's
it out.
on the ground.
Oh, this is okay. Second serve, Swiatek now. I gotta talk for this point because if she goes love 30, this is going to be seriously interesting. Swiatek going for the second serve now, taking her time, rebounces. Going for the second serve into Jabeur's backhand, goes cross court. Jabeur misses the backhand though.
Why does she kick the ball?
She missed it.
It's like a thing.
She used to play a lot of football, to be fair.
Yeah, it's called football. I forgot I'm talking to him. Americans.
She really called it football, right? In Tunisia.
Probably. I think the only place they call it soccer is the US and Canada.
Yeah.
Canada, I'm not even sure.
Very slow backhand from Swiatek there, by the way. Jabeur now up in the rally, comes into the net, drops the ball short, and scrambled to get the volley, and it's now 15-30. That looked nervy from Swiatek, by the way.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I thought she was going to go cross court actually over there, but Jabeur hit a decent enough volley, and she guessed correctly. Oh, this is. It looked like it set up, but then Swiatek was a little late, and she anticipated the round.
Yeah, she guessed it correctly because you could see Swiatek couldn't really have done anything else with that backhand. She basically got it like a few inches above the net.
Yeah, that's really good.
Swiatek, I'll just talk through this one as well, Vance. I think for the first time, I've just seen Swiatek go for her first serve at 112 miles an hour, and she dumps it into the bottom of the net. So we're now at second serve. She's taking her time. I think obviously I'm muted. I imagine the audience are probably going crazy in Arthur Ashe. Second serve into Jabeur's backhand. Jabeur nails it down the line, inside out. Goes for a forehand cross court, or inside out, sorry, I should say. Neutral at the moment. Swiatek had a chance to go offensive and misses the forehand, so it's 15-40.
Wow.
Yeah, they're getting their money's worth.
It's so
Great
hard
point.
not being able to tell you guys what I'm seeing.
You can talk through this break point if you like, Jeff, unless you've already seen it.
No, you can't ruin it for you guys. That would be mean.
Well, I'll tell you what happens here now. Swiatek going for the first serve now. Delivers it out wide. Jabeur slice, returns it. Swiatek gets a forehand down the line, manages to work the point in her favour with a backhand down the line. Back to neutral though, and Jabeur absolutely nails it cross court. She's up in the point. She surely can't miss from here. I think she did though.
Oh, that was out, yeah.
She did.
Oh my goodness.
That was perfect. That forehand cross court to change the dynamic of the
So
rally.
good.
Amazing.
She tried to go behind Swiatek there, but she might have been better off just heading to the open court.
Yeah, I think she would have won the point from there if she just approached.
Could you
to the
imagine
backhand.
if we were doing a call like this during the Alcaraz TFO match? Like, it would just be screams. Going
We'd be
on.
doing orgasmic sound much every game because
It'd just be going mental.
I would have loved to hear the radio commentators during some of Alcaraz's matches this
Oh my goodness.
this tournament,
saw-
because
I
I don't
saw
think I
one
could talk
earlier.
that fast.
It's actually quite incredible how they do it. I saw one earlier of that game point last night, and it was called so well. Insane.
oh, Jabeur missed the backhand on the line. Tried to change direction.
Yeah, missed backhand down line on
Yeah.
break point, by the way.
And
That looks like, yeah.
Just
Jalali screaming something at her. I don't know what it was. He was shaking his head there, by the way. I don't think he was happy with that shot choice.
yeah.
Swiatek first serve into Jabeur's body, forces the error immediately. So at 109 miles an hour, by the way, so she's obviously up the notches on her first serve.
That is a really good body serve.
First time I've seen her get it in that quickly, at that speed, I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, brilliant body serve.
109 in the butt. Pretty effective. Interested to see where she goes on this serve now.
Yep, I'll let you know now. Swiatek first serve missed. Again, going over 100 miles an hour. I mean, earlier on in the match, she was about 80, 90 or so on the first serve, and the first serve percentage was massive. So this is a crazy change. Certainly taking on more risk now, sensing the occasion. Second serve into Jabeur's double fault, I should say. That's just
Okay. Interesting.
interesting, yeah.
It looked like she decelerated a little bit. That could be nerves, 75 miles per hour.
Yeah.
It's just her second of the match, but I do remember one that allowed Jabeur to break back earlier in the set. So interesting.
So yeah, could be attributed to nerves, Vance. Could be right. Jabeur gets her forehand return into play and is now dictating play with the forehand cross court, and again with the forehand cross court. Swiatek may be able to change the rally with her own forehand down the line, but no. Now Jabeur managed to take control of her own forehand down the line, and it prompts a Swiatek backhand into the net. So it's break point again.
Jack, as the host, I think you should be calling him Vonch with respect to John.
In John Silk fashion, yeah, you could be right.
Bosh.
Vonch, do you want to talk us through this break point?
I'm actually kind of way behind you, so I think it would not be.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll talk you through it then.
You can talk through it actually, because
Okay.
my screen was always behind.
Swiatek first serve out wide. Jabeur gets the backhand return into play, goes for a slice down the line and nets it. Probably
God.
I want to see our coach again, because I imagine he'll be absolutely raging at that.
Oh my goodness, that is not a good play there. You
Just
need to be a little
seems-
bit more disciplined
I know, seems cheap.
in these big points. That's potentially two of those 3 points where shot selection let her down.
Yeah. Imagine being in someone's box in a Grand Slam final. It'd be unbearable.
You have to just do your best to stay calm and send
Oh.
positive signals, but it must be so tough.
My favourite was Berrettini's dad in his box at Wimbledon last year, and he literally had his head in his hands. He had like
I
a vape
remember
in one hand, and he just had his head in his hands. He couldn't watch a single point.
Oh man.
I love this from Scott. A great point here.
As someone who'd already seen the point, that was really funny for me as well, because I
Yeah.
knew what was coming. Like, she's already got this from here.
Great point, by the way, from Jabeur. She just, again, couldn't put the finishing touch on the approach. So, unfortunately, not like I'm rooting against Swiatek, obviously, but I want a third set. But you now add Swiatek.
8.5 minutes this game.
What was that, Bunch?
It's been an 8.5 minute game. The 12th point.
Yeah, so it has.
Oh, and that's
However, yeah, Jabeur does miss that forehand return, so it's 5-4. Iga, which means Jabeur is going to have to serve to stay in the match. How are we feeling?
Oh, I'm not feeling so good about this next game coming up for her.
Nervous.
I think that was a pretty missed opportunity for her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a huge hold, really.
Yeah.
Huge hold indeed. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't fancy Jabeur's chances to hold her nerve, to be honest, but the way she's been peaking, I guess, is maybe encouraging. I could see her, if it goes to rallies, maybe. I don't know. If something was going to break down, maybe that second serve, possibly, even though it's not historically something that breaks down of hers.
Yeah. The backhand might be the make or break. She's made like 7 unforced errors and about 5 winners or something, but some of the backhand down the lines have come in handy in this set. Turn points around. She's gonna need to get her first serves in for sure, and get off to a lead in the service game, and then get the crowd going.
Yeah, maybe getting the crowd on our side would help. It seems to be rattling Swiatek more than it does Jabeur.
Do you guys
actually
know what is the crowd like? Are they probably supporting Ons a little more, or is it fairly even?
It looks like there's a lot of Iga fans based on the amount of flags I've seen. But not being able to hear it, I can't really judge.
It's on close to mute on my TV, and I can still hear whenever Jabeur wins a point. They're louder.
The New York crowd sure likes an underdog, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they just like a good match. I think the only person that they really will, be biased towards is Serena. That was the only time I've really seen absolutely zero cheers for another person. But in the TFO match, they were really back and forth. So I think they just really want to see a really good match.
I think that's our scout who's on the ground saying that actually the crowd seemed to be cheering more for Iga than Jabeur.
Interesting.
John's just saying in the comments.
Oh,
okay.
Is he's listening to us?
Yes,
he's at the match.
Yeah.
Good man.
Love 15 on Swiatek's on Jabeur's serve. Sorry, I should say. Swiatek controlling this point with a backhand down the line now. Jabeur defending brilliantly though, has managed to neutralize it. Swiatek hooks one down the line, but just puts a little bit too much air in it. Don't know how she managed to lose control of that one. Definitely, surely a little bit of nerves, or maybe just the conditions, possibly owing to those unforced error count she was talking about. Now 15-all. I'll talk through this one as well. Jabeur first served down the tee. Is that how many aces she had this match, fans? Do you have that stat on hand? Because I can't imagine it's been many.
I don't know that it's been any.
Yeah, I was about to say that looked like the first one to my eyes anyway. Jabeur's forehand going a little bit loopy. This tends to happen under the most pressure. Her forehand does sort of go awry. So that's now 15-30, 2 points away from the championship.
It was a wild forehand. That was quite long out, actually.
Yeah, she's had 0 aces in the match.
If Iga wins the match in this game, Jethro, you can't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't. Just no, I won't.
Jabeur with an amazing forehand cross court, by the way, and another one to boot, and it wins her the point. So we're now 30-all. That was probably the biggest point of the match for her.
Oh my goodness, yes, that's really uplifting moment to get back.
You laughing at Scott again?
I am, yeah.
What's he said now?
Let's see. Oh.
By the way, that was an absolutely great point from Jabeur. Just to talk through exactly what happened. Serves out wide, managed to get Swiatek on the stretch with a defensive forehand, and then hits the backhand back behind her on the approach, forcing the forehand error.
Good play. I like it.
Really good play.
Jabeur only 7 for 14 at the net. So
that's not too surprising. There's been a few where it looks like she's not coming at the right time, to be fair.
Yeah.
Second serve Jabeur at 40-30. I'll just tell you how this point goes. Second serve into Swiatek's backhand, and Swiatek misses it, which is very surprising. 5-all. We're still going.
Wow. Second serve miss, 78 miles per hour. Interesting.
It's terrifying. Yeah. For Swiatek, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if she could ever lose a final again after everything she's done. This just seems totally. She's not going to lose. She's not going to lose, though, right?
That was a big hold. I was not expecting her to hold without even going to deuce. That is, makes this very interesting now.
Could this go to a tiebreak?
It could.
Definitely.
Ugh. Okay, with not with shots like that.
Has this got sort of the Pegula feel from the quarterfinal, where I'm sure they only held once each in the second set, right?
5 breaks each and only one hold.
Yeah, that was so weird.
That was a tough watch. I won't lie. I did think Pegula played quite well though.
Yeah, she was great. She was super consistent, and just the base level she was able to bring to that match was super difficult for Swiatek to continuously overcome.
She drank a beer in the press conference to help ease the loss.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I like that. I think I had her losing in the semi-finals, my draw anyway, so that was perfect for me.
I haven't looked at my bracket since like the first week, and I don't remember any of my picks. They all got trashed.
I was on top for the first 5 days, and then it all just came crashing down.
Swiatek winning the backhand rally, and now it's 30-love. Although I might be behind, so.
No, I'm with you.
No, I'm at 30-love as well.
Yeah, match is over now, mate.
Yeah.
Swiatek going for the serve out wide, by the way. Jabeur getting the forehand back into play. Swiatek's forehand going loopy and long again, so now 30-15. It is the shot she said was the one that is most likely to unravel in these conditions. And we've seen quite a lot of it. So maybe this isn't too surprising. 30-15 now. I'll tell you where this one goes. First serve into Jabeur. That was a let, sorry, so she's going to take it again. Does she go really big in this one? What do you think, Vanch? I would say she shouldn't.
No, she shouldn't. I don't think she will.
I think the panic is sort of over. First serve, toss up and back down again, so she goes for it one more time. First serve into Jabeur's backhand. Jabeur gets it into play. Her forehand, Swiatek's forehand almost goes long, but it's still neutral, still in play. Jabeur gets Swiatek on the run a little bit with her forehand down the line. Back to neutral again. Drop shot, so heavy though. Jabeur reads it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Behind the back.
Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah. I mean,
that was a great point.
The defense from Jabeur there was great. Seriously good. But the drop shot was probably the wrong play again, right?
So she went, do you remember in Indian Wells when Federer hit that really high drop shot against Burdick, and it wasn't that good, but it looks amazing because Burdick doesn't move for it, so it looks like
Miami.
oh my
Looked like
God.
Burdick's
Yeah.
feet were
I think
stuck
that's
in the
what.
mud.
Yeah, those are shots. Yeah, look amazing, but yeah,
The drop shot to end all drop shots. It was so good.
it was good, but like Burdick, if he made any sort of effort to get there, would have been.
No, but it was because it totally outfoxed him. The disguise on it was amazing.
Yeah.
So it was almost the height
the
on it
way-
was just to rub salt in
we've
the
got a
wound.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, was that out?
That was
that
out,
out
yeah.
from
I remember
Iga?
the commentator
out,
being like,
yeah.
"Oh, it's playtime."
Yeah. It's exactly that line, wasn't it?
But 2017 Federer was no joke.
First
Absolutely
successful
insane.
Jabeur drop shot attempt. I don't know if I'm totally correct about that, but I
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
She went again
and
for the dropper.
it was kind of not an unforced error, I guess, because Swiatek can struggle with that sometimes if she's really close to the net. But yeah, it was close to that. She did have an open court to work with. Swiatek first serve now into Jabeur's backhand out wide with a kicker, and Swiatek going for the drop shot return. I mean, painful.
Oh, Jabeur.
Yes. I know, yeah, off a first serve.
What was that?
It's an interesting play.
She does do it sometimes, and it's quite hard to argue with when it does come off, but I'm certain that is probably lifetime under 50% points won. Surely.
All right.
Anyway,
she'll try to stay in the match again after the break.
I'll go on a small tangent just while we've got a break of play. You were talking about the fight for number one in the singles, of course, on the men's side. Did anybody get to see the fight for number one on the doubles side yesterday?
I don't watch doubles.
I actually did not.
The men's.
Yeah, in the men's. Yeah.
Yeah. It was really good.
It was
really
great.
good.
Yeah, it was really good. Joe Salisbury and Rajiv Ram trying to defend their title at the US Open came up against Neil Skupski and Wesley Koolhof, who are the number 2 ranked pair in the world, and somehow Great Britain, or LTA I should say, have done nothing to promote that. Anyway,
It's so strange.
I know.
Hasn't Wesley Koolhof played with Stefanos Tsitsipas?
Yeah, he got to the Miami final, right?
Yeah, in the Miami in 2019.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That was exactly right. Yeah. Joe and Rajiv managed to defend the title, so they came through those two.
Good.
And also
I
the
only
lady,
really tend to watch like the final when it comes to doubles, because I watch so much of all the draw.
Yeah, of
men's
course.
and women's that struggle to keep up with the doubles as well.
I enjoyed watching Rajiv serve. Reminds me of Sampras.
That's great. It's a really good serve.
He was his idol, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Krejcikova and Siniakova, by the way, going for the calendar slam as well tomorrow evening.
They're so good.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Barbara should just stick to doubles now. That's just what I say.
I did hear regarding doubles. I did see yesterday how much the winners for doubles matches get versus singles, and the disparity was quite sad.
Yeah, it's shocking. I should probably turn us back to the match, by the way, because Jabeur's just missed that forehand, so it's now love 15 at 5-6 on her serve.
Keeping Jabeur waiting.
Must be the audience again.
Yeah.
Jabeur with a second serve now. Second serve to Swiatek's backhand. That backhand was good enough that it's forced an error from Jabeur's forehand, so it's now love 30. Swiatek 2 points away from the championship.
It was a slower second serve there, 74, but Swiatek just surprised. She didn't hit a forehand there, but that backhand on the line, devastating.
Again, yeah. It's been the shot. Jabeur just taking a moment.
I think that was Iga put her hand up.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
She did a Rafa.
Second serve again for Jabeur. Goes into Jabeur's Swiatek's forehand, I should say. Swiatek gets it in play. They're trading forehands. Jabeur with a forehand inside out. Swiatek nets the backhand actually off not a particularly aggressive ball. So I don't know if that was nervy.
Interesting. Unforced error there on the backhand.
15-30. Sorry, I'm just changing the banner there. With an aggressive forehand cross court, and again another aggressive forehand cross court. I don't know who's won the point. Swiatek must have went long a couple of shots ago, so it's 30-all. Missed the 5 in that banner. Hold on. Okay, and again 30-all. Jabeur going for the first serve to Swiatek's forehand. Must have been out by a whisker because it's now a second serve.
Just out. Tried to go for the slider out wide.
Jabeur's backhand a serve into Swiatek's body. Swiatek gets a backhand cross court. Jabeur redirects down the line and it's only just in. Jabeur with a chance to go big on the forehand and sprays it wide. Is Swiatek going to change rackets on match point? She is.
Yes, she is.
My God.
She break her string? No, she didn't break her string. It's just broke.
No.
Just wants to change.
I feel so alone right now watching ahead of you guys. Oh my God.
So Swiatek obviously just wants to control this ball. That's all she's thinking. Jabeur first serve down the tee. Swiatek gets into play, big forehand into the Jabeur, and it just goes long from Swiatek. Match point save.
I'm so nervous.
Same.
You should pause for a second, Jeffro, if you can.
Yeah, actually. Where's the remote? There we go.
At the moment, we're looking at Swiatek's coach, if that helps. Jabeur serving now. First serve down the tee. Forces the error, so it's ads. Woo!
Oh, that is a really good serve. That was reminiscent of a lot of the serves down the tee she hit against Garcia.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, and we've not really seen a lot of it in this match. What perfect timing. First serve wide to Swiatek's backhand. Doesn't force the error. It's back in play. Jabeur gets a chance to hit a backhand down the line and nails it.
Yes. Oh my God. We're going to a tiebreak. Oh, thank God.
That was such a good backhand.
My
oh my
goodness.
days.
Oh, I feel emotional.
Clutch with that backhand down the line. Forcing the error.
I'm just thinking, why didn't I pause this in the first set?
I was about to start analysing the point, but to be honest, this is going to be all reaction now because this is just scary stuff.
Here we go.
Tiebreak.
I can finally react with you guys.
Both players really leaving it all out here in the second set. This is good stuff.
This is great.
Jabeur, of course, 7 and 4 in tiebreaks in 2022. Swiatek 3 and 4. Interesting numbers.
Nice.
Ooh.
That was quite crunch. Swiatek first serve to the body. All neutral at the moment. Swiatek gets a nice forehand cross court. Back to neutral. Jabeur slices. Swiatek should get a chance to attack, but doesn't. Jabeur nails a backhand down the line.
Oh my goodness.
So good. That was so good.
That's ridiculous. Oh.
Damn. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Speaking
of tie breaks, crazy. TFO went the entire tournament without losing a tie break.
8-0. The most
8-0,
anyone's ever gone at the US Open in tie breaks without losing.
Was it 9?
Insane.
Really?
Was it 9?
Yeah.
9.
Was it 9?
Was
Oh, okay. I think it was.
No,
I thought it was
either 8.
It was 8. It was 8.
Yeah.
Because it was 7
8.
after he won the first set, I remember. So
Okay, yeah.
It would have been 8.
Should have been one that he
that's
lost,
pretty
but you know.
I don't know if that was a forced error, but either way, Jabeur's forehand goes cross court.
Yeah, a little bit of a deep return. This soft 75 Swiatek again with the backhand going deep on the return.
I was going to say just misses, but actually it went a fair bit wide.
Yeah. I think that was I would classify that as a forced error, though.
Yeah.
I would, for sure. I don't know how the stat makers.
That was not a forced error, however.
Oh.
And Jabeur's forehand goes absolutely flying inside out.
That's a bad miss. She went for way too much.
That was
and her mini break
shot.
advantage is now gone.
2-1 Swiatek. Mini break achieved.
Mm.
Right, I can talk through this point. This is nervy now. Swiatek first serve to Jabeur's backhand. Jabeur gets it in play down the middle. They're trading backhands cross court. You'd expect Swiatek to go line. She tries, but it's too middle, and Jabeur gets a forehand cross court aggressively. It skims the net cord on the forehand inside out, and it's
That was
enough.
long.
Yeah, it's enough for
Yeah.
Swiatek to go long. Only mini breaks so
Ooh,
far.
got a little help from the net, but that was a much needed point for Jabeur. We're back on, so even.
Again, Swiatek Pegula-esque in that it's all been mini breaks so far. I'm sure it took like 8 points for them to get a point that wasn't a mini break in that tie break.
I remember. It's all breaks.
It's crazy. Right, Swiatek first serve into Jabeur's forehand forces the error, so it's 3-2. First hold of mini serve.
Swiatek again, just going 100 to the body. Not much in it, but Jabeur missing the return.
It should have been a mini hold of serve, actually, not a serve of mini whatever. Anyway, 2-3 to Jabeur. She's serving to Swiatek now. First serve into Swiatek's body, forehand. Jabeur gets a chance to go aggressive and misses with the
tries to kick the ball again as well.
Oh man, that's not a good miss.
Oh, she's yelling about something.
That is a gift.
It is the forehand that tends to go a little bit
Yeah.
crazy, to be fair, from Jabeur when she's feeling her most nervy.
Especially that mid-court ball where she has a lot of options, you know. You feel like she could go behind you, she could go to the open court, she could go for the drop shot, she could... Oh, it's just...
I like how her physical venting of frustration is just trying to absolutely wallop the ball by kicking it, rather than someone just like smashing their racket into the ground.
Yep.
Jabeur first serve down the tee should be good enough to force the error. It is, so it's now 4-3 to Swiatek. Swiatek serving.
Oh, that's a good serve. Perfect spot.
I forgot to keep updating the score.
Okay, you've got a lot of work to do, mate.
There we go. I was doing it point by point. Maybe that's too many.
Lol, Scott. Dying at Jethro being a full minute ahead of you guys for the entire match. Yeah, it felt like that.
Ashley's come to compliment your hair, Jack.
Thanks very much, Ashley.
Oh.
Swiatek missed forehand.
This is so nerve-wracking.
I'll put Ashley's comment up as a banner if Swiatek doesn't win this set, but for now I'll focus on the score.
As she said.
First serve out wide. Jabeur with the chip return. Something's happened, hasn't it? Missed the serve, is that right?
Yeah, I thought it was.
Okay,
it might have been a let.
I thought it looked like it was in, so it must have been a let. Yeah. Normally when the serve speed's removed.
You can see the radar gun didn't have the miles per hour.
First serve out wide. Jabeur chips it.
Is that out?
It's out. It's out.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Oh my
inside
God.
out there on the backhand.
That backhand down the line miss, prompting a bit of a sovereign draw from Isabel there. I don't even know what that
I want to know how Iga fans on Twitter are reacting right now.
Yeah, I'll try and find some tweets after this. For now, Jabeur 5-4 up.
Oh.
She's missed that, hasn't she? She missed that first serve, right?
I thought it was in. Oh, it must have been either out. Or
that was a let.
It was a let.
Man, Jabeur was.
Oh, so it was. The serve gun's gone again.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah, she gets that first serve into play. Swiatek with an aggressive forehand cross court. Jabeur goes just as aggressive right back. It's back to neutral. Swiatek goes down the line with her backhand.
Oh my
goodness. Okay.
So good.
Okay, Swiatek kind of out of nowhere with a massive forehand down the line.
And that's tennis near the gods.
Yeah, literally.
No mortal may approach.
Yeah, nice. Got it line for line there.
Robbie going for that line, but yeah.
He's had some good liners, hasn't he?
It's funny when you know his whole playbook from start to finish, though. You can you can tell when they're coming.
Yeah, and he always like has something relevant to the name. So he always has Ridiculous when Kyrgios
Yeah.
hits a good shot.
Phenomenal.
Yeah,
That's
always.
nice. Okay,
Oh,
wait.
Oh, poor forehand from Jabeur, and it's another championship
Oh,
point
no.
for Swiatek.
Oh my God.
goodness.
Could all be over in this point.
And this time it's on her serve.
No.
Just
Oh,
one
no.
swing away
Oh
from
my
her
God.
third major.
I think that forehand winner might just be the most important shot she's hit
Oh
For
this
sure.
year.
For sure, yeah, I agree.
my God.
That was massive. That would have given Jabeur 2 set points.
Oh, wait, here we go.
Mhm.
Oh,
First serve. Oh, toss up and back down again.
She's doing a Murray.
Feeling the nerves.
And again, just taking a moment, probably from the crowd. First serve to Jabeur's.
Out.
That was an absolute mile out. Oh my god,
Miles
second serve.
out. Nerve-wracking.
Let's see if Jabeur tries to be super aggressive for this, or just chip it back in play.
I think she'll chip it back in. Although she's stepping in.
It looks like she's
Backhand
good.
return from Jabeur goes down the
Oh my
line.
God. Oh,
No, it's going long. Swiatek wins the US Open.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh
and
my
she
God.
falls to her knees, and
Wow.
that is it.
Wow. That's
Well,
amazing
They
for
got the
Iga.
drama
Poor
of the tiebreak,
Jabeur.
but wow, Swiatek.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Oh, that's a nice embrace.
Oh, Ons is she's a hugger, isn't she? They both are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're both
That's
quite
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, the embraces / handshakes after matches and the WTA have got
Wow.
really good over the last couple of years.
Yeah, there's a lot of love
Ostapenko's
between
the
them.
Also-
Ostapenko is the only one who is just horrid. Everyone else is like hugging and being really nice, and she's just like.
I think that the like at the net embraces improved on both sides once Kyrgios was out of the tournament.
Yeah.
Like everyone was
Everyone's
just
free.
hugging.
Yeah.
First woman, by the way, to win the French and the US in the same year since Serena in 2013.
Looks
Wow.
like she wants to go up.
Swiatek just absolutely launched her sweatband at her box.
Oh man.
Wow. I
Fair
feel
play,
badly
yeah.
for Jabeur though.
Same.
I'm actually so surprised just watching her win right now that I don't know. She was never ever playing her absolute best ever throughout the whole tournament, and she's here. She's won the US Open.
Today she was very good. I think second set maybe dropped her level a bit, but that's the best she's played all tournament, and that's such a champion thing to do, to like not play your best all tournament but find a way, and then when it really matters in the final, you just find your level.
Yeah,
incredible.
I mean, Jabeur will be surely so happy with taking Swiatek to a tiebreak, right, in a final. I mean,
I would think so.
That's as good as it gets.
Wow, they were ready with that
Yeah.
Yeah,
with that sticker.
they always are.
Do you think they have them both pre-made? Or
Yeah, they do.
They just
Yeah,
wait
they
until the
will.
very last minute. Oh,
Surely. They must just chuck the Jabeur one in the bin, or I don't know. See, I don't know. I don't know what else they would do with it. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, Swiatek also first woman to win 2 slams in the same season since Kerber in 2016. Yeah, it's been a while since a multi-slam winner in one season. That seems mad, actually, that it's been that long. So I guess 6 years isn't ages, but still,
with all of the players that we've had on the WTA winning in that time, it does feel more significant.
It does. I know. I suppose it's very coincidental that Osaka didn't manage to break that streak, I guess.
Yeah.
Given she won one in like 2018, 19, 20, and 21.
I think this is I think that this tournament for Iga is like very, very important. This was a much bigger win for her than the French, really, because everyone expected her to win the French. But like this could be like a real turning point for what we were talking about earlier about dominance on the women's side.
Yeah,
it might just be her for the next 5 years or something.
Yeah, and like the way that people doubted her because she lost one match at Wimbledon and then lost a couple of others, and they were like, "Oh, so she's not going to be dominant." I was like, "She can only play on clay." I was like, "Come on." She's obviously incredible. I'm really happy for her. I love watching her tennis as well.
Yeah, I just think the fact she won without feeling her best throughout the whole tournament is probably the biggest takeaway. That's why it's so important for her, because I just feel like she'll feel like she can win anywhere.
Yeah,
like it was great. Insane. She played quality opponents, and she still managed to come through. I still can't get over it, honestly.
She's on her phone already. Nice.
Oh, poor Ons.
Oh, she's very upset. Yeah.
Oh. I think she should have won that Wimbledon final still.
I was going to say, well, I don't think it'll be our last chance at Wimbledon. I don't know if she'll make another hardcourt final necessarily, or at least I don't think that's much of a guarantee, but the chance of her being back at Wimbledon, pretty likely, I think.
Yeah, I feel really bad for her.
I mean, she'll win a slam. She'll, maybe Australia will be her year.
How many more slams do you guys think she's gonna win?
Iga?
Iga.
Like she's.
There's no reason why Iga doesn't go on like a Nadal-esque-ish run at the French Open. Obviously not quite Nadal, but she's just so much better than everybody else on clay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Holger Rune is going to break the Nadal.
Yeah, he does.
As he said, that was his goal. So I'm sure she'll have to break his first.
Good point.
Yeah. And then he beat Tsitsipas in the fourth round. I was like, Holger, no. You can't actually. Are you serious? I was like, fair enough. And then
who was the last player to win the French Open and the US Open in the same year? Serena, right?
I think you were away for that stat there, Vance.
Yeah, I didn't come up with that from nowhere.
Who was the last non-Serena player though to do that?
In fact, you probably tweeted it at some point, and we're just remembering your tweet, Vance.
I don't think I have actually. I've been late on the tweets. I've not gone on Twitter this whole match actually.
It's been all about predictions, hasn't it?
The last non-Serena player is a good question. I'm just going to find out for you now.
Trying to see if I can just.
Who did it in the men's?
Off the top of my head.
In the men's.
The Rafa.
Was it Justine Henin?
I've got it. Yeah, it was Vance.
Was it Henin in 2007?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I got it.
Well, the last one before Serena.
Yeah, and then Henin did it again
2007.
in 2003.
Wow.
And
okay, I'll
Serena
tweet that
did it again in 2002. And then before that, it was Graf.
Yeah.
So this is quite an achievement.
Yeah, that's quite something.
She's in decent company, basically.
Yeah.
And then Navratilova and Ebert are the only other two players, and Court that have done it.
My goodness, she's 21.
Yeah, but Court doesn't count, right?
Yeah. I could beat Farmers 5 matches in a row.
In fairness, when she won those two, I was talking about the Open era when she did win those two. So
yes,
we'll give her her dues.
She did win the Grand Slam in 1970, I guess, in the Open era.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
I was speaking to someone about Margaret Court the other day, and they're like, "Oh, she's a product of a different generation who has those views." And I was like, well, yeah, you don't see Rod Laver being racist and homophobic. He's like one of the sweetest men ever. Nah, I don't believe that argument for a second.
It's a very good point, Jethro.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Just real quick, John is backstage on this stream if we want to bring him in.
So he is, yeah.
I thought you meant at the presentation.
Let's bring him in.
Bring him in.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hi. Whoa.
They're doing
They're doing
the presentation now.
How are you doing there, Jean?
Yeah, I'm good.
Josh.
I hope you can hear me a little bit. I'll just give you 30 seconds. They're doing the presentation. Can you hear me? Yeah. They're doing the presentation right now. So Iga's just too good. She doesn't win. She doesn't win. She doesn't lose finals. She doesn't lose finals.
Incredible.
And I think at times maybe Ons got a bit desperate. No.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Just a few of those drop shots didn't work out. Blah blah blah. But listen, it was a good fight. I thought for a moment towards the end of the second set, Ons was going to maybe make a fist of it. But listen, Iga doesn't even drop sets in finals. So hats off to her. And by the way, great job, guys.
Thanks very much, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
I had you.
Hey,
I had you on the. I'm not going to lie to you though. I was a couple of seconds ahead.
Yeah, I thought that would happen. Good to hear though. You had us in your ear.
Listen, I'll speak to you soon. Yeah.
Right,
Take
John.
care, John.
Yeah. See you
Bye,
soon,
John.
mate.
Take care.
See you
Bye-bye.
soon.
Dang.
Oh, sorry.
Live
Isabel.
from Earth Bash. How cool is that?
Isabella's host. Isabella's now host.
Very cool.
Oh, wow.
Wonder how he got
That was a great
those
second
tickets.
set.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
I know.
really impressive.
There was a cool wee guest appearance there.
Yeah, I'm glad I kept an eye on the group chats this whole time.
I always forget to check the comments when we're doing these. We need more Scott comments because they are. Oh, here we go. Oh,
Yeah, it's
That was a good one. Yeah.
Just-
2.6 million for Iga in the bank.
Is that dollars?
so she's quite
Yeah.
comfortably now the highest earning tennis player of the entire year.
Oh, by a
I
long
don't think
shot, surely.
anyone's gonna reach that now. Alcaraz might get close.
She's also the first player since Serena to, I'm pretty sure, get past 10,000 points in the rankings.
Unbelievable.
Can anybody hear what's going on in the ceremony, by the way? I'm quite interested to see what they've got to say. Hear what they've got to say,
I
maybe.
think it's just the USTA guys speaking right now. The players aren't on the stage just
Yeah,
yet.
I can see they're just talking. It's just
Yeah.
the part that Medvedev tends to yawn at.
Oh, poor! I felt so bad for him, even though I was so happy Nadal won that match. I felt so bad for him.
For
Crowd for Medvedev.
For
It's just
Medvedev,
the
for
crowd.
Medvedev.
I mean, the
yeah,
Australian crowd were awful this year. Shocking.
I think he just likes to invite conflict, though.
Are these two good friends? I imagine they are, right?
Yeah, Jabeur's good friends with
assume so.
everybody.
Seems like it.
There doesn't seem to be any sort of personal drama on the women's side compared to the men's. I mean, the men's does stem mostly from Nick Kyrgios, but still.
Yeah, on
All the
Twitter
women's
as well.
Yeah.
It's not like something happens in a match. You just like
Yeah.
you're
Or
bad.
in press
Like,
conferences.
Mary Jo
Yeah.
Fernandez is interviewing Ons.
Yeah, you're going to be number 2 in the world. This was a tough one. You fought your heart out. The crowd was behind you. What will you remember the most these last 2 weeks? Well, I want to thank the crowd for cheering me on. I'm really tired, but yeah, that's definitely wrong. I really tried even, but Iga Swiatek did not make it easy for me. She deserves to win today. I don't like her very much right now, but it's okay. Just an amazing 2 weeks, to be honest with you, backing up my final in Wimbledon. I know I'm going to keep working hard, and we'll get that title sometime soon. Seems like every time you play, you're making history as a trailblazer. What does that mean for you and your country? To be the first time major here, first African, first Arab woman to do that. It really means a lot. I tried to push myself to do more, getting to the majors is not enough of the goal, and hopefully, can expire. Okay, some of these subtitles are wrong. They've got that completely wrong. I got inspired by so many champions. Martina here inspired us. Thank you also to my team. They have always been pushing me. My management teams, it's just the normal thank yous at this point, I think.
I should have just listened. I didn't realize you were reciting, Jack. I should have just listened to you, mate.
Yeah, I had it on. I had myself muted so I could listen to what she was saying.
Okay, fair enough.
I usually turn it off at this point because I just don't. They never.
You don't like the?
Well,
I love
it's not like they're gonna. They thank their team. They
it's
congratulate
normally
their opponent.
I know. It's normally the press conferences are normally a lot more interesting.
Yeah, they get handed the big check, and then it's just kind of. I just turn it off. Like I never won.
I want to hear what Swiatek says. To be fair.
Yeah.
And I always like hearing Jabeur sort of roast her opponent a little bit. Mary Jo Fernandez, I believe, saying, what an impressive season. This is your 7th title, your 2nd major. How are you able to perform your best when it matters most? I don't know, honestly. I am just not expecting a lot, especially before this tournament. It was such a challenging time, and coming back after winning Grand Slam is always tricky, even though there is one. So I really needed to stay composed and focused on the goals. For sure, this tournament was really challenging because, it's New York. So crazy. There were so many temptations in the city. So many people have met who are so inspiring. It really is mind-blowing for me. I'm so proud that I can handle it mentally. And Ons Jabeur, such an amazing tournament, such an amazing season. I know that this is, already a pretty nice rivalry, and we're going to have many more. I'm pretty sure you're going to win some of them. So don't worry. Yeah, also congrats to your team because the dedication you show is pretty amazing. Yeah, it's nice words. Nothing surprising though, you're right, Isabel. First Polish woman in US history to win the US Open. What does this mean for you in Poland? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure a lot. I can even hear what is going on right now in the stadium. Thank you, guys. Yeah, she's always got so many supporters wherever she goes. Like, Polish fans absolutely love her. Yeah. Only recently, though, Damien said it's taken a while. We've got to stay united and release for ourselves to stay together. I'm pretty happy that I can kind of unite people with our sport, and I'm proud that tennis is getting more and more popular at home. I want to basically mimic what Jabeur says, such an interest as well, but we are trying our best to set good examples. I kind of relay that sentiment, what Damien was saying. It's like it's got much bigger in Poland in recent times. Obviously, because of her, so it's great. Vanch, is your camera meant to be off, Vanch?
Vanch is struggling.
Okay, cool. How many titles does she have? Okay, that's pretty good. She's in double digits.
Insane. Does anyone else think whenever Iga speaks that she sounds like she's going to cry? Like every time?
Yeah, she has got a bit of that.
I know it's like her accent and her voice and like the way she speaks, but it always sounds like she's on the verge of tears.
She's so timid every time she speaks. I think that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
She sounds so quiet.
Yeah.
It's like she doesn't want to say the wrong thing, but she's so lovely at the same time. It's like
Yeah. It's a shame that like people don't consider her marketable because like I think her tennis kind of speaks for itself, and like she's got a really good personality, and she's really nice and really, really sweet, and not everyone has to be like this larger than life character to be considered marketable, I think. But I don't think Casper Ruud's I think Casper is probably in a similar mold, but
Yeah.
I think kind of like really nice, humble, soft-spoken people like Casper do a bit better in that sense on the men's side, because I think people saw Federer and Nadal behave like that, and so they're like, he's got really good, like, I don't know how to describe it. He's got a really soft, warm, humble personality, which we're used to seeing from like Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, and stuff. And
It's also
so I think the men can get.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I just think the men who are like that will do better publicly, I guess, than the women, because I don't know what people expect from WTA players, personality-wise, personally.
Well, they can't do anything right is kind of the main thing. If they're too emotional, if then they're too emotional, and if they're not emotional enough, it's a problem. So you can't do anything right.
Exactly.
I was going to say with Casper, I think it's from what I know about like Norway and some of those like Nordic countries in general, there's a very like national kind of sentiment that you are not supposed to brag and to remain really humble. And that's just a very much like the attitude of those countries. So it makes total sense to me why Casper is like that. And I think Bjorn Borg was like that, and he was, Swedish. I think it's just kind of a national thing. So
yeah,
I like that. We should get more Nordic players in.
Yeah, I think like it's funny there as well, because like it really depends where you're looking, because on tennis Twitter, obviously so many people have different opinions. Like there's like Holger Rune fans who love him for being a bit of a brat and quite abrasive and not having the best attitude, and then you've got people who don't like him but love Casper because he's like so different, and they're both Nordic as well, which I find quite interesting.
I guess Denmark's like barely Scandinavia, kind of only just is.
Just about.
It's a little different.
No, I used to live there, and they used to call it like semi-Scandinavian, basically, and I kind of get it. They're not really the same as the other guys.
Yeah, no. I hear it more about Sweden and Norway more than some of the other Nordic countries. I don't know any Finnish people, so I can't speak for that.
Well, yeah, Ruusuvuori is Finnish, and he's
great. Yeah, he's really cool.
I really like him. The way he hits the ball. I can't remember. I think I shared it on Twitter a couple of months ago, but there was a video of him and Sinner practicing on the grass court just before Wimbledon started, and I had to watch it like 4 times over to work out which one was which, because they are so similar in how they hit the ball. Like there's only like a few key differences, and
Vance was saying that the forehand in particular is really similar. The size of it, crazy. For sure.
Like it's really interesting with those two, and I find the same with Iga as well. That the way they hit the forehand, it's the sound that pops. Like it's like a gunshot. Yeah, and I find that really, really interesting. I love how that. Like I love how Iga can do that, just like Sinner and Ruusuvuori can. Really
I'll just wait till Vance is back on track, by the way, just because there was a lot of feedback coming from his stream. I'll add him once he's there. He is. I think he's back now. Here we go.
Is it his Wi-Fi?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's my Wi-Fi is not great right now, so.
No worries, Vance. If you dip, I'm sure we won't be on for too much longer anyway. We're just about finished up. Any closing thoughts before we do finish up shop?
Well, I'm happy with this result, to be honest. I'm pleased. I'm really pleased for it. I would have liked to have seen 3 sets, but at least the second set was competitive and close.
Yeah, I'm really glad.
No Paula Badoza.
Yeah, that was your pick at the start of the tournament, Jeffro? Or?
Yeah, it was because John put me on the spot when we're doing our live reaction to the draw, and like me and John, and he was like, "Jethro, who's your WTA winner?" I was like, I don't know. I had no idea.
I said Tyson, don't worry. So
I said Halep, so yeah.
Yeah.
I got it half right though. I did say that Iga would be in the final. I just thought that Halep would beat her.
Fair.
My goodness.
I'm still pretty surprised she won, I gotta say.
Iga, really?
Yeah. She just kept talking about how much she hated the conditions, and even like a few matches ago, even after beating Sabalenka, she was talking about it, and she was just like, "I'm just so glad that I can win when I hate the conditions this much."
It's so much like Rafa in 2020. He had me fooled at Roland Garros with that as
Yeah.
well.
It's
The
just
conditions.
a flex.
It's
Honestly,
like, I hate the conditions, but I'm still going to beat all your favorite players. Aren't I?
yeah, exactly. It's wild, honestly.
That 2020 French Open was really, really fun, actually. I wasn't really sure if I was going to enjoy it because it was 2 weeks after the US Open or something like that. I think it was 2 weeks. And the conditions were so strange. And then we had that unbelievable Team v Schwartzman match in the quarters. And Schwartzman getting to semis was really cool. And then everyone, like so many people were like, right, conditions are so in Djokovic's favor in this final. He's going to win. And like, Moritoglu was just like, oh yeah, Djokovic is going to win this. He's not going to have any trouble. And then just gets bageled and loses straight sets.
Was it
Honestly.
Neiman? Was it Julia Niemeyer was up like a set in a break on her in the 4th round? That wasn't
Yeah,
going well.
yeah. But it just
So
again,
poor
it's like the Sabalenka match. It just never felt like
Yeah,
I don't know. It just never felt like she was really going out.
yeah.
I think
Sabalenka
maybe
was
the-
the closest though. 2 service
yeah, I was gonna
holds.
say it's kind of to do with the other player more than Swiatek, but at least Swiatek doesn't capitulate from that position. But I think it's just the confidence she exudes puts the other player off.
Mm.
It's great.
Yeah. Now she's really just got to master the grass somehow, which I'm sure she has a lot of time, so she'll figure that out.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a big ask. I'm not sure about definitely, but she just doesn't have the game for it, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, she can prove us wrong. She's got the talent for
I think
it.
she'll figure it out. I'm not saying she's going to win
I
multiple
don't think she'll
Wimbledons, but I
win
think
Wimbledon
she's
next
gonna
year or
figure it out.
something. But like within the next 4 to 5 years, I wouldn't be surprised if she won
Yeah.
Wimbledon.
Yeah, maybe when it becomes the slam to tick off the calendar slam, I wouldn't be surprised if she prioritizes it.
Yeah.
It's always tough as well because like I always see it on the men's side when they put everything into a clay court season. Like, I saw this with Team for years, and like he would just throw everything into the clay, and he would reach the final, and he'd lose to Nadal, and then he'd maybe play like one grass court tournament, and turn up to Wimbledon, and he's just not adjusted to it. He could play on there. Like he beat Federer and won Stuttgart. Like he can play on
so he
there
did.
really well.
So he did. Yeah.
That was the year I'd become a team fan about 4 months before that. So I joined the hype train at the perfect time.
I've heard players talk about that though, just the almost absurdity of having to transition from clay to grass and how short the grass season is, and it just feels like time wasted almost. Like you could turn up to Wimbledon and get knocked out in the first round quite easily.
Yeah, I really want a grass 1000 tournament personally. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I'm surprised there isn't one.
Yeah.
Just how saturated the season is already.
I was reading the Godenzi 5-year plan, and it does seem like it's one of his priorities, which is good.
Oh, that's good.
I guess they use an existing tournament, maybe.
Yeah, I just don't think we need 3 clay court tournaments after Wimbledon, personally.
Like I would have thought Queens would have been a good option for a 1000, but then I went there this summer, and I realized actually the club is way too small, and they don't have the facilities, and they don't. A 1000 wouldn't work at Queens.
Yeah.
You're coming to the UK next year, Bench?
I want to. I really want to go to Wimbledon again.
Yes.
I went in 2018, but
we need like a giant popcorn meet up at Wimbledon. It was so good.
Yeah,
we had like a mini one with Scott, Jack, and myself, and that was fun. Surprising, but fun.
Yeah, it was great. Scott obviously got his centre court tickets. It was amazing.
Greatest day of my life.
Scott got me into court 1 to see Jamie Murray and Venus Williams play mixed doubles as well. Me, Claire, and Hanya. That was incredible.
Do you guys agree with Jane here?
They need to space out the back-to-back North American 1000s. Oh, like Indian Wells and Miami?
Yeah. Well, presumably, unless Jane's thinking of the
Or is it
Canadian one.
Montreal
But
and
Yeah.
Rogers,
Cincinnati?
yeah.
Yeah. Are they becoming 2-week events next year? Or Cincinnati is and
Rome is
Montreal
as
might
well.
not be. Yeah.
they're becoming 2-week
I'm not sure how I
events.
feel about. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that.
I don't know how to feel about that either because you'll have a day off in between. Like Madrid is they kind of already do that in Madrid, don't they? And like it's so weird because the men and women started like completely different times.
Madrid is actually the worst clay court.
It's the worst in
Masters.
terms of scheduling. It's like a nightmare.
They messed around. They messed around with the blue clay. They can't get like they have players
The blue
finishing at
clay.
4 a.m.
Did they not
And
have like they had
It's not even a
models?
proper clay court tournament.
They had
Like,
models as
it's
ball
basically
girls
golf.
as well, or ball women.
Yeah,
Ugh.
It was
And it's
and
owned
it's
by
weird.
IMG, so they give wildcards to IMG clients, and it's like
yeah. And
Yeah,
it's
and then-
it just rewards like big fast hitting or like big
Right.
serving with like no real clay there. It's at altitude and the ball just zips and it's just I hate it. I can't stand it.
It's interesting what Jane's
Right.
saying here. She says this about getting back into shape after Wimbledon because the points in grass are too short.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, Vance, you've cut out a little bit. Yeah, I don't think we can hear you, Vance.
Oh no, bench.
He's cut
Yeah,
out.
Vance, we can't hear you, Vance.
He's dropping his
Right.
pearls of wisdom and we can't hear him.
I know. Sorry, Vance, I don't know what's happened, but we can't hear you. I think it might be your Wi-Fi. You're very quiet, actually, so we can sort of hear you. I'll come back to that pearl of wisdom in a second. Ashley says she's happy to see a room full of Grassmasters 1000 truthers.
Yes, Ashley.
I'm glad that people are still watching, even though the match is over.
I know, yeah.
We're not
Yeah,
even talking about it anymore.
We went on a
We're just going to
tangent,
keep it rolling until the final tomorrow.
We're
That's-
just
that's
palling
what we're
around.
doing.
My mom turned us off a long time ago.
Yeah, if your
Okay,
mum
then.
turned us off then. And Vance is done as well.
Vance is gone. He's had enough.
Maybe that should be us. Yeah, we should wrap up there. I mean, that's us done.
Yeah.
Iga's won. Jabeur went to bed. We can probably finish up. I mean, if you want to do a little shout out for yourselves, my name's Jack. I'm on Twitter. I'm on the line _Jack. If you want to follow me, Isabel, maybe.
Yeah, if anyone who doesn't follow me already, you can follow me at the tennis slut. There
And
you go.
I love it when you have to say your username. It's always so funny.
I know. I don't know why I do it. I did it to myself.
I remember watching your podcast with John, and he was like, "And Isabel, where can people find you on Twitter?" And you're like, yeah, it's yeah, I'm just Jethro _SB. Very simple.
And Vance, if you want to give yourself a shout out.
Oh, he's back.
yeah, I'm you can follow me at VanchV2K. You can follow my horrendous predictions and stats.
Great stats.
Fantastic stats.
Jane says, thanks for entertaining banter, guys. No worries, Jane. Hope everybody else at
thank
home
you.
enjoyed it. This has been Talking Tennis. I'm sure next time John will be hosting, but for now, I've been Jack Edward. Thank you very much. It's been a brilliant stream. Join us next time on Talking Tennis. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers.